Spend a whole lot of time talking about philosophy because you guys have a philosophy, but I want you to kind of know who we are and what we do will then make more sense to you, okay? And not so much what we do, but how we do it, okay? So the first thing is, we sat in a room 2 years ago and told our guys that our goal is to be the number one offense in the country. And, we had just gotten to Tulsa, and probably not one of the guys that was in the room, not one of those kids believed us that we could do it. Okay? But how do we go about doing that? Well, what we are is we're a two-back run and play action team. Okay? The first thing is we're going to be able to run the football. And we have two ways or two scheme concepts that we work out of. We're a zone team and a gap scheme, okay? Zone schemes and gap schemes. The gap stuff should be on the internet. I spoke about down in Dallas, and so we're going to cover the zone stuff today, okay? But from that, and then we'll talk about the play actions that go along with it. That's the one thing that I think, if you look at our offense, when I first got to Tulsa, Gus Malzahn and I were co-coordinators there. Gus had come from Springdale High School and from Arkansas, and had his way of doing things, and I had come from West Virginia and kind of had my way of doing things, but philosophically we were the same. And I think that I kind of poked my head in here earlier. I heard Tony talking about that, is that this to run a no-huddle offense, a tempo offense, you got to be all in, and your whole staff's got to be all in. Coach Grant puts it this way, our head coach Todd Grant, when you walk into our building, our secretaries are no huddle. Okay? We don't have a no huddle offense, we have a no huddle team. Our defense is no huddle. So it's not just a philosophy for the offensive coaches sitting down in their room doing their deal. It is our program's philosophy, and you got to buy into it. Okay? But when Gus and I first got there, philosophically we had come from similar backgrounds. I've been at West Virginia and Clemson. My involvement with the no huddle, dates back to when I was at Glenville State, and Rich Rodriguez was the head coach at Glenville, and I was a defensive coordinator. And so my first experience with it was defending against it every day. Okay, but we both came from different kind of backgrounds from a scheme standpoint. Gus was more gap scheme based, and we were zone scheme based, and we were able to marry those up and put together a really good run play action package, okay, that incorporates both scheme concepts, okay. But again, this goes back to the philosophy thing, but we want to keep constant pressure on the defense and the defensive coaches with these six kind of musts of our offense, okay, what we want to try to do. And what these are, the six things that we put up here. Again, Coach Graham is a defensive coach. He's going to work with our quarterbacks now, but his history is on defense. I spent 10 years as a defensive coach prior to coaching offense, after playing offensive line. And I would encourage any of you guys that are kind of young coaches in here, and if you get a chance to coach on, or guys that have to coach on both sides of the ball sometimes, the best way to win arguments is to know both sides. And being a defensive coach for about 10 years really made me a better offensive coach, okay? But we want to keep constant pressure on these guys by doing these six things, and these are all things that we hate to defend as defensive coaches. We hate to defend these things. The first and the biggest thing is our tempo. We want to run our offense at a 2-minute pace the entire game. Now, I put that up there as a 2-minute pace, but really we have about 6 different tempos, okay? Because here's the thing I'll tell you is that if you just go in and you say we're going to be a no-huddle team, you get into your rhythm as a play caller, you get into your rhythm as an offense, and maybe it takes a quarter, or maybe it takes a half a quarter, but the defensive guys on the other side of the field, they can get into rhythm with you, and it's not as stressful as you can make it on. So how do you change that up? Is by varying your tempos. Okay, so we have our base tempo, we call it a 2-minute pace, but it's really not. It's not quite a 2-minute pace, because we have such urgency to get lined up, but not like you would in a 2-minute drill. Okay, unless we tell our guys we want to go faster. We have pace plays. We have a grouping of plays that we're going to say, okay, these are pace plays. And when we want to pace somebody, we'll go as fast as we possibly can. As soon as that official is ready to step off the ball, we're ready to snap it. Okay. We also have where we can slow things down. Right. Let's say you go out on the field, and this comes again from working for a guy that's a defense coach. You go out on the field, and then the other team's offense gets the ball first, and they go 12 plays and score, and then you go out there and maybe you go 3 plays and score, and then the defense goes back out and they go 12 plays and hold them to a field goal, and you go out there and go 3 and out, and you've taken 30 seconds off the clock, and you've run 6 plays, and the opponents have run 30 or something. That happened to us this past year. And you've got to be prepared at that point. Even though you don't want to change your philosophy, you've got to be able to vary your tempo sometimes just to keep yourselves in ball games too. Because the one thing I'll tell you about going fast is like I kind of equate it to NASCAR. Okay, remember that, not the Ricky Bobby one, but the other NASCAR, Thunder Road or whatever it's called. Like Dick Trickle, Cole Trickle, whatever his name was. Right? He was wrecking the cars, man. Because why? All he wanted to do was go fast. And so what you do is you wind up hurrying up the screw up. So you don't want to do that either. Okay? So we have ways to control the tempo with that. Now we'll slow our tempo down with some check release system stuff. Whether we go out with a play call that we check, or we go out with no play call and go through a false cadence and check. So there's a bunch of different ways we can handle that. And then we have down here on the bottom, we have what we call our fire alarm plays, which I'm going to talk about as we get to that. And then when we want to milk it, we can milk it. You know what I mean? So we can slow down. Now, we don't huddle when we milk it. You're going to tell you taking the air out of the ball. You're up by 3 scores with 6 minutes left to go in the game. If you want to slow it down a little bit, we don't huddle up just to huddle. I can't stand a huddle, to be honest with you. I think it's a waste of time. How much time do you spend as a coach going, now this is how the huddle's going to be. You stand here, you stand here, and you're bitching at the kids all the time. But you're not coming out of the huddle right. You spend all that time worried about getting out of the huddle, and you ain't running no damn plays in practice. It's ridiculous. So the huddle's a waste of time. I can't even go to practice and watch it. I can't. It doesn't go fast enough. You know what I mean? So I'm not a big proponent of huddle, but anyway, we want to have a balanced attack. We want to be able to run the ball and throw the ball. And this is what I tell you is that when you're truly balanced. You can run the ball when you want to run the ball, and you can run the ball when you have to run it, because there's a difference between the two. Okay? You can throw the ball when you want to throw it, and you can throw the ball when you have to. When I was at West Virginia, we could run the ball when we wanted to, run the ball when we had to. We could throw the ball when we wanted to, but we had difficulty throwing the football when we had to. And that's what threw us off. Okay? At Tulsa, we can do all 4 of those. And there's a big difference between those. Okay? But we were very balanced this year. Averaged 270 yards a game rushing, 301 yards a game passing. We want to present misdirection in a run and a pass game. Okay? Whether it's with play action pass, again, if you're talking about the passing game and play action pass in our nakeds, our boots, all that stuff. In the run game, we run a lot of misdirection, reverses. We want to go in, we like to run a reverse a quarter. Okay, but that's kind of our thoughts going in. Our counter game, our zone read concepts, which we're going to get into, those all present ways to run misdirection and run a passing game. We want to stretch the field vertically and horizontally, make everybody defend the entire width and the depth of the field. That's one thing that we do, and it's kind of, if you go back and look at the stuff from Dallas, you see in our vertical play action stuff, which we're going to talk about some of our play actions off our zone stuff. But the things I'm talking about in Dallas, we read everything top down. Like the under dig concept, we're reading post, dig to under. Because I think it was Gunnar was saying earlier, when you have a shot, you got to take it. There's not many times in the game that and there's sometimes we miss them. Our quarterback makes a misread sometimes, but we have a shot on the post and he doesn't throw it. But there's time. How many times do you have opportunities in the game to throw a 70-yard touchdown pass? Or a 60-yard touchdown. You want to miss those. Okay, so we want to stretch the field vertically and horizontally. we're going to throw the book out with specials, firearms, and our Wildcat package. Wildcat package is just single wing football, quarterback run stuff. The specials, our trick plays. We got day one of spring install. Okay, here's what we're installing. The inside zone read, the split zone stuff. We're installing a reverse. See, a reverse for us is not a trick play. Some guys are reverse a trick play. That's base offense. Okay, and then we're going to install a flea flicker on the first day of practice. And we'll probably run against our defense and they'll be pissed if we complete it. Because I'm saying it's the first day of practice, I'm throwing damn flea flickers. That's our philosophy. Okay, we go into every game with probably about 7 or 8 trick plays, and we may have practiced 15, 20, 30 times some of them before we call it. Okay, and then once we call it, we kind of move that one back to the bottom of the pile. And then we just rotate it through. And here's what I would encourage you to do, is that as you, trick plays, this is a big thing now. Because if the defensive coordinator is spending time preparing his defense for trick plays, then he's not spending time preparing against your base stuff. Okay? So you're watching film. You see another team run a trick play you like, make a cut up of it. That way you've got a collection of them. You keep them on a tape or in your computer. You know, you throw it into a file, and that way you can always refer back to them. You know, so that's a good thing to do with the trick plays. It keeps people, you know, again, it makes them have to prepare for that stuff. Our fire alarms, what a fire alarm is for us is a quick huddle. Okay, we're going to line up right on the ball. Our center will take maybe about 2 yards off the ball. He gets the play call. We bust out of there. We send the skill guys out first. We get them lined up. We come out. We get set as quick as we can. We snap the ball as fast as possible. On those type of fire alarm plays, we're probably going to run some kind of full zone perimeter run. We may run our inside zone play, something that we feel like we can fit up pretty quick because the defense is not going to be lined up. We may full slide protect, give a little play action, take a deep shot. Okay, we usually try to present some type of unbalanced formation, right? Take your left tackle, put him over there at right tight end. Take your tight end, put him at left tackle. Make him have to, and make him eligible, and make them have to identify him. If they don't identify him, throw him the ball. Okay, again, it's just being creative and giving your kids also some fun stuff for them to do. All right, and then the last thing is we're going to present the option in a variety of different ways. Tonight we're going to talk about the zone read option as we get into this. You know, a gunner talked about the speed option and their zone option. The power G option, which should be on the cuts from down in Dallas. You guys can refer back to that. But when you play option football, now what are you forcing the defense? You're forcing them to play assignments. And when they play assignments, they slow down. Okay, and when you do all that with the tempo, and when you kind of combine everything, that's when it gets really fun. So, all right. Now, in order for us to operate at that speed that we want to go, okay, we don't work off of. I try to keep things as simple as possible for our offensive line. Okay, so I don't have a bunch of rules. I don't have a bunch of rules that say, you know, uncover, cover, this guy, that guy, that. All we do, we block fronts. We ID fronts and we block the fronts. Okay? Our front identifications. And I like to build things just out of our 12 personnel. Why? Because it forces people to balance up. Okay, so you understand these base front identifications. And then if I just come out here and go like this, take this dude, move him out here, move that guy out there, move the tail back over and drop the quarterback back. What's changed in the quarter? Nothing. Nothing has changed right here. Okay, now that guy may be a shade, or maybe he's a 2-eye, or that guy may be a 4-eye, or maybe he's playing a 2-eye. I don't give a shit. Okay? When we ID a front as even, it's even. All right? It's not, because here's the thing when I say about this, when we're going fast, you don't have a lot of time to sort things out and have big long discussions about, is a guy a 3-eye or a 2-eye or a 3? Is a guy shaded or is he in a 1? What the heck is an A-gap player? Okay, block it. Right? And so we block fronts. We ID fronts and we block fronts. And So right here, this would be what we would call an even front. All right? Basically, with an even front, you got 4 down line front, and there's no Mike backer. There's no true Mike linebacker. Okay? As compared to even stack, now I've got a true Mike linebacker alignment. That's what I taught myself. Okay? So what we call even and even stack. Okay, the next thing is, and then what I'll do is the next slide, I'll show you how we combo everything in our base zone concepts. Okay? And here's what I also tell you is that all of these front identifications, they tie into our protections, they tie into our gap schemes, everything's tied together. So once my center is the guy that's going to ID the front for us. And once he IDs the front, it kind of sets everybody's blocking scheme, whether we're talking about protections or whether we're talking about our run game. Okay? And what I've got to get them to understand is the difference between an even front and an even stack front. The difference between an odd stack front and an odd front. Okay? They need to understand that stuff. Once they do, I'll guarantee you this. You go back and put on any film you want. You can watch all the film you want. 90% of every defense you can see, because guess what? There's nothing really new. Okay? About 90% of every defense you'll see, you can encompass into those 6 fronts. And the other 10%, I don't care about. If somebody's doing something really funky, who cares? Okay? Now, if they're doing it consistently, I got to adjust and make some kind of adjustment. But guess what? They can't do that versus us because we do so much fast tempo stuff. We actually get more base defense than we do funky crap. Okay? So my thing is, I'm not going to lose sleep worrying about a front that somebody ran one time or something where, they ran something. They probably, you know what it probably was? It probably a defensive kid screwed up, didn't line up right. Okay? So I'm not going to lose sleep on that. What I want to do is make sure that my guys they understand how to block those 6 fronts. And if they understand that, I know we got a chance. Okay, to get a hat on the hat. All right, so an even front, we've got a 4 down front. Again, I don't know if the guys have 3 eye, guys have 1, and who cares? Even stack, I got a 4 down front with a Mike linebacker. Okay? The other thing is with an even front, generally speaking, with an even front, you're going to have some kind of single safety look. Okay, it's 8-man front defense. All right? With a 4-3 front, generally speaking, you're going to have a 2-eye safety look, probably playing some kind of quarters coverage or something. All right? With an odd stack front, that's why the even and the odd stack are on the same side. It's 8-man front defense, odd stacks, 8-man front. Okay, you're going to have some kind of single safety look, or maybe they're trying to cheat the bandit back or something. I don't know, they're dicking around over there. If you spread them out a little bit, you give a little bit more of an opportunity to play this safety back in the hole. But generally speaking, it's a single safety look. With an odd front, generally speaking, you're getting 2-eye safeties. Okay? And then eagle, if you look at this right here, from the nose over, what does that most resemble? It most resembles that. Okay? All it is now is it just shaded the nose. Maybe this is the field. Maybe this side's to the field. Or if you had a single tight end and just shade the nose to the tight end. Okay, shade 5-9 front. That's the most resembles an odd front. If I go this side, what does that most resemble? That most resembles an even front to the 3 technique. Okay? So that's a combination front for my guys. They know if we were going to run the zone to the shade 5-9, on the front side, we're going to block it most like odd. If we were going to run it to the 3 technique, we're going to block it most like even. Okay? And then bear front for us, anytime that the center is covered and both guards are covered, we declare that bear. Okay? Again, I can take any one of these fronts now, and I can move the tight ends out to slots. They're going to adjust out of here, maybe apex in there, whatever. I can take the tailback and set them over here and pull the quarterback back and shotgun, and nothing's changed for the offensive line. Nothing. All right, so when I talk about identifying fronts, that's what we do. We ID fronts and we block them. Okay, and here's the other thing I would tell you is that we don't just block the front that we think we're going to see that week. Because we could be playing 5 weeks in a row of teams that are even man front teams, whether they're even or even stack, and we're just working those combinations. And all of a sudden we get into that 5th week, and the teams had an open day to prepare for us, and they come in and throw an odd stack front out there, and then my guy's pissed down the leg. I'm not going to let them do that. So every week we're going to block in our individual. Okay, I'm not talking about when we go against our scout team but in O-line individual, we block every combination every week. Tuesdays for us is a zone day. Wednesdays for us is a gap day. So we take all these fronts and we combo these things off. I've got a video of that if any of you guys want to talk later on, whatever. I meet you in the morning, whatever you guys want to do. Okay? I can show you how we drill that out, some of you O-line guys. We're gonna zone block on Tuesdays. We're gonna gap block on Wednesdays, and that way we always feel like we're prepared. Okay, going into a game. All right, now talking about combinations. All right, when we go even, hey, can somebody grab me a glass of water?
Coach, there's a bottle of water right there, right in front of your computer.
Oh, there is. All right, awesome. When we go to an even front, once we ID that as an even front, that's basically telling the center and the guard that they're combo blocking to the first backer in the box. Okay? If I have a tight end in there, what's that telling him? We ID it as even. On our zone scheme, you're working out of the box. Okay? The tackle's responsible for the first down lineman on or outside of him. All right, and even front. Now, if I move this guy out, again, to a slot, what's changed? Nothing. Now the slot's responsible for him. How are we going to block him? Well, we're either going to fit him up or we're going to bubble him, force him to play defense, whatever. But we have ways to handle the overhangs. Okay, but just because a guy's not lined up at tight end, it doesn't change our rules. The core stays the same. Okay? So in an even front, there is no true Mike linebacker. Our center guard combination on the front side is going to the first backer in the box. All right? And of course, we're working cutoff rules on the back side. Now, if I take this guy and I move this guy out, go back in the shotgun, and whether they're running outside or inside zone, which we're talking about the difference between the two, but right there, what's changed? Nothing. What's that guy? He's a read key. Okay? That guy's the read key. And it's critical for my guys up front to understand on every play who the read key is. Okay? Here's why. I get this question a lot. What do you tell the backside tackle on zone read? How do you teach the backside tackle on zone read? Okay, he has a simple rule. He's tracking by theory. He knows which backer he's working to. Okay, we ID the front. He knows the combinations. They're communicating that stuff out. Now he knows I'm tracking for that backer. All right, so. His rule is simple. If the backer I'm working to, by theory, let's say they were trying to get to a two-high safety look, let's call that guy the weak safety instead of the will. Okay, and they were going to a two-high safety look, and his rule is if the backer that I was working to, by theory, is outside the read key, then I'm going to lock it. Okay? So if that guy's out there, he's not in position to make a play, then I'm going to tell the tackle, you're going to lock it. Now what does that mean? That means I'm going to step in there, I'm going to protect my inside gap, and then I'm going to lock that backside guy. All right? When that happens, he's got to communicate that. So he'll actually make a lock it call. Right? He'll say, stay, lock it. Well, who's he talking to here? He's talking to two people. He's talking to that guy, Because that guy now knows he's going to have his backside help. Okay? In case the nose were to slant back, he's got to lock it on him. Who else is he talking to? He's talking to the quarterback. Because he's telling the quarterback now, hey, I'm blocking the read key. So what's he telling the quarterback to do? Give the ball. He says the zone read's off now. Okay? I'm blocking the read key. Give the ball. All right, now, let's say that the backer he's working to by theory is outside the read key, but he's apexed. He's apexed, and he's in a position where he could fold and make the play. If we get it. I don't want to lock that now. Okay? We tell him you're going to sift now. He's going to sift through, which means he's going to go through the inside shoulder of the read key as he's climbing for the backer that could fold and make the play. All right, now, as he's standing there in the stance, what's he going to say? He's going to say, sift, sift. Who's he talking to? He's talking to the guard. Okay? He's talking to the guard. Because if he's sifting it, then the guard's got to treat it like a locket. Does that make sense? The quarterback, he doesn't care if the quarterback knows or not. The quarterback should know by alignment that he's going to sift it. Because the quarterback's going to read it still. Right? And if I go through the read key's inside shoulder, what should he do? He should give it. Because that hand can't come screaming off my ass now if I'm going through his shoulder. Okay, so it should be a give anyway. So I don't necessarily have to tell the quarterback if I'm sifting it. But I do need to tell the guard. Okay? Everybody got that? All right, now, go over here to even stack. On stack defense, if I've got a tight end involved here, okay, I'm going to tell the tight end tackle combination that you guys have got the first backer in the box now. Because I've got a true Mike linebacker. There's two reasons for this. One, I can't tell the center guard combination to go to the first backer in the box because he's all the way outside the tackle now. It's too far out. We can't get to him. That's one reason why. The more important reason why is if I tell these guys, you're going to combo to him, who's going to cut off the mic? You can't get to him. Okay? So how we handle that is we tell the tackle tight end combination, you guys got the first backer in the box now. Right? And here's the first thing I get is I said, people say, well, if you do that, right now, watch. What should happen on the backside? I got a hat for a hat now. I'm comboing the mic. I can wash that. We'll be able to get a hat there in the tight. We're good on the backside. Who do I lose a hat on? That guy. Right? Or him. However you want to do it. And here's what I tell you. This is kind of my theory on safeties. All right, some of you guys may have heard me speak before or whatever, but there's 119 Division I A teams in the country. Okay, there's 110 pussies playing free safety. All right, I'm not going to let a safety discourage me from running the football. Okay, because here's what will happen. Let's say they're playing quarters coverage right here, and we run the zone, and the ball bounces. And this safety comes screaming downhill in quarters coverage, and he tackles my guy in the first quarter for a 3-yard gain, and he gets up and he's bumping his chest and all that shit, and then we come back and run it over and over and over, and that kid's having to make tackle after tackle, and next thing you know, he starts breaking down, and here's what you look for on film. The first time you see a safety cut tackle a guy, the first time I see a safety drop his head and cut tackle, that guy is a pussy. Because he does not want to hit anybody in the face. And we're going to challenge his ass until he cracks. Now, I spoke up in Cherry Hill a couple weeks ago. After I got done, some guy comes up and he says, well, Taylor Mays isn't a pussy. And I said, I didn't say all 119 of them were. I said 110 of them out of 119. Taylor Mays, pretty good. So what do you do with him? You take your wide out and you push crack his ass. And you make the corner make the tackle, because the only bigger pussy than the safety is the corner. Right? So, and here's the thing I'll tell you, we're going to watch film here later. Hey, see film. Watch, see film. Make those guys make. At the end of the game, if this guy or that guy is the leading tackler on their football team, then we've kicked their ass. Period. Okay? So I'm not worried about safeties. Screw those guys. All right? All right, questions between even and even stack as far as how we combo those. All right, now, let's say that I take this guy. Let me move this over for a second. Whoops. I'm going to do that. All right, let's set this tail back over here. Let's put that guy out here in the slot. Okay, let's take this guy and move him back into 20 personnel. Okay, make this guy, let's say he's apexed out. All right, so that's going to change that rule. Now watch. Now, I got 20 personnel now. This is my lead back. Who's he working for? He's working for the Sam. Okay? He's working for the first backer in the box now. If I did the same thing over here, who's that guy working for? He's working for the overhand. Or if they were playing the quarters coverage, he'd be working for that safety. Okay? Do you understand that? So we can adjust it. The rules just roll each other. We're going to talk about this in a little bit, how we get that guy into the blocking scheme once we get into our back reads. Now, if I were to ID that like that and put him on the Sam, those guys are working the mic. What's that tackles rule? Where's the backer he'd be working to by theory? He's outside the repeat. So he's either going to sift it or lock it. Does that make sense? All right. Odd stack. Odd stack defense. Now, we've got 8-man front again. That tells the tight end you're working out of the box. You're working to the overhead. All right? My tackle and play side guard now are going to work to the first backer. On the backside now, that becomes the read key. Okay? Everything else stays the same. Odd stack. Now, sometimes I've got to force a little bit of a front identification. What I mean by that is, we've got we're playing a team who bases out of a 3-3. We'll go into the game saying, look, 90% of the time those guys are going to be an odd stack. If they give you something funky, just declare it as odd stack and try to work it out. So I've got the end is a little bit wider, the Sam, maybe he's walked out here, whatever. Okay, over here, the end is not, he's in a 4-eye, and the Willie backer walks down. It's still odd stack for us. I'll show you one of those as we go. Okay? And it's just a matter of, again, being able to operate fast. You don't want to make your kids think too much. You want them to be able to function fast. So that's why we block fronts, and we don't have a bunch of rules. We ID fronts and we block them. Okay? Go to an odd front now. Tight end, if it was whoever, lead back, whatever, he's got the overhand. Okay? We're going to combo to the first backer in the box, just like we would be doing here. We're scooping it back. So what's that tell the tackle he can do? Where's the backer he'd be working to by theory? He's outside the read key. Lock it. So him and the tight end can both lock it down on the backside now to run the zone. If I remove the guy, block a straight on front, put that guy in the slot. What's different? Nothing. Nothing. The backer he's working to by theory is outside the read key. Okay? His rules lock it. Eagle front, again. We block eagle. To this side, it's most like this. To this side, if I wanted to run it over here to the left, how am I going to block it? I'm going to block it like even, running the 2-3 technique. Same rules. Okay? Because that this way is most like that. Here is most like that. So it's a combination front. All right? And then bear, here's what I go back to the whole concept of saying you need to be able to run the football when you want to run it and when you have to run it. You get in the fourth quarter, you're up 4 points. There's 3 minutes left to go in the game, and the defense got 2 timeouts. guess what? They ain't gonna line up with two high safeties, okay? Unless they're friggin' idiots. Because here's what I tell you about that too. One other thing about safeties, I always get hung up on safeties. Okay, is this: if a team is playing you with two high safeties, then they're basically slapping your offensive lineman in the face. They're saying you can't run the football on us. And I don't care if those safeties are quarters, cover safeties or not. That's what I say. That guy's in quarters. Who cares? If they're lining up on the top shelf, that's an embarrassment to our offensive line. Okay, and if you don't approach it that way, and you know what I like about it? We can throw the ball so well that they have to line up back there. That's why we average 270 yards rushing a game. Okay? But then we throw it over them anyway. Screw those guys. But you're going to get situations where you're not going to have numbers. Okay? That's being able to run the ball when you have to. When you have to run the ball to win the game, to close the game out. You're not going to have numbers. Okay? One of the, and this, you don't necessarily have numbers here, and they're bringing guys down. They're playing single safety. They're playing single safety here. The difference here is I don't have numbers and I don't have great angles either, because they canceled out my angles. Okay, who's got the toughest block here? The left tackle does. If I'm running the inside zone here to the right, these guys got it easy. They're on easy street. I got a double team on the nose to the right. That guy right there's got to earn his scholarship, that left tackle. Okay? So here's what I tell you. You got to close out a game. You're a zone running team. Most people sit there and think, oh, maybe my right side are my studs or something. Maybe you just feel better about the right side of your line. So you go, we got to close the game out. We're a zone-based team. Let's run the zone to the right. I'd run it to the left. Because that's where you're going to cut the defense, on the back side. You understand? So, it may, those are things that you got to think about as you're doing it. All right, now, we're going to start out talking about the outside zone. Okay? The outside zone out of shotgun. Now, I get this question a lot. Do you like to run the ball to the 1-5 if it's an even front? Do you like to run the ball to the 1? Do you like to run the ball to the 3? It matters. It matters. Sometimes the 3 technique sucks. Okay? And you can kick his ass, but you can cut the defense that way too. You get that 3 technique cut off. If I get the 3 technique reached, particularly if I can combo back this way, and I can get my guard and center combination to reach the 3 where the guard can get to the mic, I can gas the defense. Okay? That's why most people are going to, those 3 techniques are war daddies. All right? Sometimes it's, but sometimes I can cut that 3 technique off. I like to run it to the 1-5, or I want to take advantage of the 1-5 bubble. There's a natural bubble there. Okay? So it just matters. It matters. All right? But we're talking about the outside zone here. We have a read progression that our guys go through. Okay? And before I get to that, let me talk about alignments. How important alignment is. All right. I'm going to come down here. Is that all right? Come here, big coach. Golly. Watch out for that thing. Get you. Yeah.
Or look right at it, either way.
Here's have people ask me, hey, we're having trouble getting the stretch going. We're trying to run the outside zone, out of shotgun. Can you help me out? Take a look at it, whatever. First thing I'm going to look at is alignment in the backfield. Okay? And right here you can see, if you're the running back, we're going to have him aligned with his toes aligned on the tackle's heels for width. Okay? And his depth is going to be 5 yards, heels at 5. Okay? The quarterback step is critical on this play. We put our quarterback on the outside zone at 5.5. All right? Now, the first thing I would get on that, because we change our backfield alignments a lot, is people say, well, you can tell by the depth of the backs and the quarterbacks what your run play is, and all that stuff sounds good when you're looking at cut-ups. But when you're going fast and the tempo's rolling, it's kind of hard to pick that up sometimes. Okay, and then the other thing is we don't just run one play out of a single alignment. Obviously, we run play action, we run reverses, we run screens, all that stuff off of different lines. So the reason why your quarterback needs to be deeper than your running back, a half yard deeper than your running back, is so on the mesh, the running back, what does that say his aiming point is? Chase the outside hip of the play side tackle. Okay, watch. If I was at the same depth, okay, come on and get the ball. Come on, I've already pushed him downhill. I've already pushed him downhill. You're just on alignment. Okay? Now we're at different depth. Okay, come on and get the ball. Open up, crossover. Yeah, you want to stay here. Tight. To me. Okay? Because you're going to chase that hip over there. You understand? So if you're the quarterback, I'm the running back. I'm going this way. Okay? I'm going to open, crossover on my third step. I'm at the mesh. All right? And my shoulders, I should be able to keep my shoulders pretty much perpendicular to the line of scrimmage. All right? There's going to be a little bit of an angle with them because I'm going through my read progression. But I can come out of the mesh and press and chase that tackle's hip because his hip is going to be moving. Okay? All right, Coach, thanks. So that's the first thing that we're going to look at is the backfield alignment. Okay? And the ability for you, giving you running back the ability to chase the far hip of the tackle. All right? Now, and here's, this is again, we could talk about this play for 6 hours. Okay? But just so you understand what we're telling our guys up front is that I'm trying to create lateral displacement along the line. Okay, so we go through our combinations here. First of all, what's our front identification? Even. It's even. Okay? So the center guard combination is going to the first backer in the box. We're running the ball to the left right here. The center guard will combo to the will. Okay? The tackle is working by himself in this case. All right? So, but his aiming point, his hand placement, aiming point, all kind of work together. Am I working by myself? Am I working with somebody? I'm working by myself this time. My aiming point is the outside V of the neck. I want to get my hat to the outside V of the neck of my man. I want to try to stretch it. If that guy, if this end is doing what his coach tells him to do, what does his coach tell him? Don't get reached. Don't get reached. So if that's his base rule, he's a contained guy, which 90% of the time it is. Sometimes they're going to stun him. We'll talk about how he inlet. Now, if I'm attacking his leverage, we have a term we say, make him defend what he's defending. Make him defend what he's defending. He's trying not to get reached. I'm going to try to reach him. Okay? I don't necessarily want him reached. I want to make it look like I'm trying to reach him. Okay? But if I get him reached, I get him reached. That's how it goes. But I want him stretched. Okay? I want lateral displacement is what we call it. I get that guy moving sideways and I get a point set somewhere. Maybe it's here. Maybe it's here. Maybe it's here. I don't know. I get a point set somewhere on the backside. Now I got to play. Okay? But, so his first read is that first down lineman on or outside the tackle. And we're trying to stretch his ass. Okay? That's why we say you're going to chase the hip of the tackle. Some guys will say, well, he's going to run towards a ghost tight end or whatever. Okay? I want to make it consistent all the time. So I don't care if there's a tight end lined up there or not. I don't tell them, well, if there's a tight end there, you're chasing the no. Because sometimes there's not a tight end there. What's the one thing that's always going to be there? The tackle's outside hip. I'm chasing the outside hip of the tackle. And I go through my read progression. My first read is a first down lineman on or outside the tackle. My second read is the next down lineman inside. It's on the outside zone. Okay, and here's the thing I'll tell you about running backs. Right, is that if you don't teach your backs how to read out a zone play, then you're doing a disservice to the backs, you're doing a disservice to your offensive line. If you just sit there in the back just says, oh, I got a good feel for this one, nah, bullshit. You read it out. You go through your read progression. Okay? And then once you get through the line of scrimmage and you get to safety level, now you can go be a running back. But you read it out first. All right? And then with that being said, if a kid misreads it and goes for 60, you don't rip his ass. You just say, hey, next time you might want to bang that thing. Nice run. Good job, son. Next time, bang it. But if he misreads it and gets tackled for a loss, you ought to climb right up in his ass. Okay? That's the bottom line. You know what I mean? I'm never going to bitch at a kid for doing something that goes for a big play. He made an outstanding play. But if he misreads it and gets a TFL, then we got issues. All right? But you can always coach off of that. Maybe a guy misreads it and he goes for 12. And if he had read it right, he'd have win. Okay? You bring him over and say, hey, nice run. Now listen, next time bounce that thing and you're out. Okay? And we'll talk about how we read that. But it's first down line to the second down line. Last thing on this. Here's the deal. I don't care where this guy's lined up. That's the other thing. We want to make it consistent across the board. What if we ran the ball to the 3 technique? Where's his first read? The first down lineman on or outside the tackle. Where's the second read? The next down lineman. Okay? What if there was an odd front? Well, the second read is a nose guard. What if the guy's in the shade? Doesn't matter. Who cares? Okay? It's 1 to 2. 1 to 2. All right? Now, as he goes through his progression, this is not the way that you want the play to go. I don't want it to bounce. So I just say I want it to stretch. Okay? But if the tackle gets that guy reached, it has to bounce. All right? It has to. And here's what I'm going to tell you on that deal. If your back screws you, all right, as an offensive lineman, all I want is for somebody to make me right. Okay? Because here's what happens. If I'm blocking that dude, and I got my hand placement, and that back goes inside, number one, this guy's going to fall off and make the tackle, and everybody in the stands is going to go, block! Right? And you're sitting there working your ass off, and they're screaming at you to block. And the freaking back, who gets his name in the paper, scores a couple touchdowns, just screws you. And everybody's bitching to you. Okay? Now, the second thing that's going to happen is, if I've got hand placement and the back doesn't read it out right, I'm putting myself in position to get a hold. Because that D line is going to fall off of me and my hands are going to get separated from my body. Okay? So, it's really critical that the back understands read progression and make those guys right. You know? That's all the lineman wants. They just want to be right. Okay, so right here, the first read is reached. If the first read is reached, the ball has to bounce. It has to go outside the first read. Okay? Now, as I'm coming to the mesh, I'm the running back. As I'm coming to the mesh, my eyes are on the first read. That tackle may come off the ball and get the guy reached quick. Okay? And then what happens? The D lineman fights to get his hat placement back. And it turns into a stretch. So you can't tell the back, hey, by the time he ain't even got the ball yet, he's going 1, 2, 3, I'm getting the ball, and the guy's reached. I'm still chasing the hip. That's why we always say we like to go 2, 3 steps past the quarterback before he actually makes his decision. But I'm pressing the hip of the tackle, okay, and let the thing work itself out. All right? But if the first read is reached, it's a bounce. Now this is where you want it to hit. Okay, here I got the first read is what we call running. The first read is running. He's trying to keep his hat placement. Okay? The second read is what? Reached. We got the second read cut off. The guard came off, he took a step, he comboed the nose, the center took the nose over, and now the first read is running and the second read is reach. I've split the defense. Okay? We want to bang that. That's what we call a bang. And that hits right in between the number 1 and number 2 read. Okay? So you got bang. That's what you want. You want either this or the next one. Bounce, when you teach it the progression, it's bang, bang, bounce if you have to. Bounce if it's there. But when you initially install it, you got to teach the bounce first. Because if the first read is reached, it's got to bounce. Okay? All right. So, first read is reached, or first read is running, second read is reached, we bang it. First read is running, second read is running, we bend it. Okay, and that's where these fat asses on the backside got to work. Because the big runs on the zone come where you get, it's almost like a rubber band. I start to stretch the thing, and then the front side is going to eventually try to contract back. But as I stretch it, if I can set a point backside, and I get all that displacement, it's just like Gunnar was saying, now I've split the defense, I've cut the defense. Okay? So I want to get a cutoff block. We do a variety of different things on the backside of it. Sometimes we fold it. Sometimes we try to just straight run it through on a cutoff. Sometimes the guard will help the tackle. It all depends on where that linebacker's positioned. Okay? So, going back to the initial front identification. This is still what? What is it? Even. Okay? So my center guard coming in is still the first back in the box. This guy, where this guy's position is going to determine what type of technique I'm using here. Okay? If he's inside a little bit, he can't help the tackle now. He's got to go. So what we tell our guys is, I don't know what your guys' rules are. You know, they outlawed post cutting, right? It used to be you could bang, I could post that guy in the tackle and kind of carve his ass up. We can't do that anymore. Okay? So what we can do though is if that guy is inside the guard or head up to inside the guard, he just tells the tackle basically, he has a term we use where he just says, I'm gone. I'm not helping you. So what does that tell the tackle? Carve his ass up. Because I'm not going to put my hands on him. I'm stepping and I'm going. So you got free rein to carve his ass. Okay? Now, if this guy is tucked behind the three, okay, I can block him one of two ways now. Now the guard can help the tackle. What's he telling the tackle now? You can't cut him because I'm going to help you. Okay? Or we can fold it. And if we fold it, we call that an ACL block. Okay? The reason we call it ACL is because that guard now is going to carve the shit out of that guy's inside knee, and the tackle's going to fold around. It's not really politically correct, but who cares? Okay? Because here's what happens. The guard's down there in the stance, and he goes, ACL, and the through technique goes, what's ACL mean? He goes, wow, carve his knee up. And then bring it around, and then the guy slows his ass down. Okay? It's like Gunnar said. I don't have a lot of NFL offensive linemen. But we play Oklahoma next year. We play, you know, when I was at West Virginia, we played Florida State, Virginia Tech, and all those guys. Our linemen were humps. They weren't going to the NFL. So they tell the D lineman, look, man, you're supposed to be the first round draft pick. I don't want to have to ruin you and your career. Okay? I will. You'll be right in the stands. ACL it. And that son of a bitch goes, oh shit. And starts settling down. Because he's thinking about draft day. My guys are just thinking about, you know, making it to lunch. All right? All right, so this is a bend. So the first read's running, the second read's running, we bend it back behind. Okay, now, here's the beauty of zone concepts. First of all, I got any questions on the back read progression? All right, the beauty of zone concepts is this. Once my guys understand how we combo things, I have installed the inside and the outside zone from a responsibility standpoint. Okay? Once they understand how do I defronts, that doesn't change. The hats stay the same, whether it's inside or outside zone. What changes? Well, my technique, my hand placement, okay, the aiming point of the back, the alignment of the back, everything else changes, but the hats don't. Okay? So it's very simple to install those places. Once they understand it, I say it's very simple, but I mean there's a lot of understanding that goes along with it. Okay? But once you get where they understand those fronts, they ought to be able to block them in their sleep. Okay? Now, inside zone. Here's what's changing. Right? Number one, up front. When I didn't do a good job of showing you this, but if I was playing left tackle right here, okay? On the outside zone, go back to the outside zone for a second. If I'm playing a left tackle, my first step, I don't want them stepping in the bucket, although my knuckleheads do sometimes. Just like you guys, they make pretty mistakes. Okay? So they'll take a bucket step. When they take a bucket step, they're giving up penetration. So I don't want them stepping in the bucket. But they do have to unhinge their hips, okay, to get a stretch. Because I've got to unhinge my hips so I can get hat placement. I can't just step at a guy to get hat placement, okay? So, but the step we're taking is a stretch step. It is a width and depth step. It's more width than depth, okay? But it's still a stretch step on the outside zone. I'm opening my hips, I'm unhinging my hips. Now, we go to the inside zone, okay? And again, the outside zone, my hat placement's where? Outside view of the neck. That's what I'm attacking, okay? The inside zone, now, I'm not taking any drop at all. I'm taking a straight lateral step. My hat placement's the inside view of his neck now. On the outside zone, I'm trying to create lateral displacement. I'm trying to get them moving sideways. On the inside zone, I'm trying to knock their ass off the ball, okay? But the hats stay the same. The responsibilities stay the same. All right. So for the lineman, that's the big change. All right, is my aiming point and my first step. All right. Everything else, second step, quickness, get into the block. You know, don't get knocked back. All that other stuff that carries over. So my aiming points, my first step change. Okay. Now the track that we use for our back. First of all, let me say this. Our back's alignment on the outside zone. I was toe to heel with the tackle, 5.5 or 5 yards, right? Quarterback's at 5.5. Now, I'm going to put my inside foot on the crack of the guard, okay? I'm going to line up at 7 yards. The quarterback's going to be at 5 now, all right? The reason we do that, differential, is so that the quarterback has an opportunity to read the end. All right, and we've tinkered around with this thing. When I was at West Virginia, we tried to run the inside zone from the outside zone alignment. And blah, 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 just on and on and on. Nothing. We couldn't get it to work. Okay? If you guys get it to work and you can convince me otherwise, I'll do what you got. I want to do it the best way. This is the best way I know how to do it. Okay? Is it a different alignment? Yeah. Do I give a shit? No. Because we run a bunch of stuff out of that same alignment. Okay? And again, if you're looking at cut-ups and you're going, aha, they run the inside zone, the back line's up at 7. They run the outside zone, the back line's up at 5. No shit. Okay? Right? If there's a big secret, I wouldn't be telling all you guys. I'd keep it to myself. Right, Tony? Yeah. It ain't a big secret. Who cares? You still got to identify. Your kid's over there playing defense going, what's going on? Oh, shit. Get down in the stance, the ball's being snapped. You think he's looking at the depth of the back? Horseshit. Sounds good in clinics. It's not real good on, you know what I mean? Realistically. That's like my guys. I sit here and I say to you guys, my guys ID fronts, which they do, okay? I asked my guard, who's now my GA, I said, hey, did Jody, who's our surgeon, did Jody change them? Did he ID every front? No. He goes, he only ID'd it when they changed it. So we'd be in the middle of a drive, and it's even, odd stack, odd stack, odd stack. At the beginning of the drive, what did he do? He ID'd the front. Until they changed the front, he didn't change his identification. That's just how they work. It's kind of like one of those secret languages of twins or some shit. I mean, the linemen have different ways of communicating and talk to each other. When I was at West Virginia, DJ, I tell you, we had a Cuban quarterback and a Cuban wideout. And they just made checks in Cuban. Whatever the word for slam was, they'd say, hey, run this big guy. And they run it. They didn't care. They were both Cuban kids. All right? Yeah. See? Okay? Now, here's the other thing is this, the aiming point. When you first put it in the inside zone, okay, if we were running the inside zone to the left here, if you go under center, the aiming point is the near hip of the guard. Right? And when we first put that play in West Virginia, we kept trying to run this guy to the near hip of the play side guard because we wanted to keep the track the same. Okay? We had a great running back from Cherry Hill, New Jersey, and Avon Cobra. And Avon was a phenomenal jump cutter. He could jump cut in and out of stuff. And he spoiled us. The second year we were at West Virginia, that was when we put the play in. And he could jump cut and he could press this hip of this guard because it's moving. And if it was backside, he'd stick his foot in the ground. Next thing you know, he'd be backside. Okay? The next year, we had different backs. They couldn't do that. And we kept them on that same track. Right? And all of a sudden you're watching and you go, oh, instead he missed the backside. Because that's where the big runs come. They come out here. And so you're going, holy cow, I missed it. Oh, I missed it. Well, we're asking them to do something they couldn't do. They couldn't jump cut. So we had to change the track. All right, so we adjusted the track now. He's going to chase him in here for the center. Okay? And that really has helped our guys get to it. Because what am I trying to do on this track? What's my goal on this track? I'm trying to get these linebackers to commit. I'm trying to get this guy to go here to fit that gap, and I can wash it. I'm trying to get him to fit the B gap. Maybe I can get this guy in the A gap, and I can cut that 3 technique off. Or this guy's the read key. He steps out to read the quarterback, and we wash it all down. It comes out here. But I can't tell him, go at this hip and be ready to jump cut back to his B gap. My guys can't do that. If you got a kid that can do it, that's great. Because now the backers are really going to commit. You understand? But on this track, I can still get those backers to commit. And I can get my guy moving backside. All right? Questions on that? Okay. Golly, I talk a lot. Holy shit, it's almost 10 to 9. Okay. All right, now, I want to start out with the outside zone, because we got a few clips of this, and then we'll move on to the inside zone. All right, now, this is our favorite way to run the outside zone, is out of 20 personnel, okay? And on this particular game, what we were trying to do is we're putting the formation into the boundary, because they're going to defend the formation, and we're going to run the ball back to the field, okay, and we're going to set up a play action pass, which I'm going to show you as we go here. But watch what happens here. Here's what I tell you. This right here, this guy, when we run this play, he needs to insert himself into the blocking scheme as if he's running the ball, okay? So he's going through the same read progression that he is. He's going to read it 1 to 2 just like he is, okay? And what's important about it is that he's got to understand the rhythm of the play, all right? And that if I'm playing a lead back, I've got to read this play out on that guy's rhythm. Because my rhythm, again, maybe we come off the ball, the tackle's got the guy reached. And so I think it's going to be a bounce. And so who's he tracking for here? It's an even front. Who's he tracking for? He's tracking for the support play, okay? Well, let's say that the tackle quick reaches this guy, and he goes running for the support player, and that guy fights for half placement. Where's the ball going to go? It's going to go inside, and I'm going to get caught outside of it. That guy's just going to fold and make the tackle. Does that make sense? So I want them to insert themselves into the blocking scheme as if they're running the ball. Now, watch what happens on this. What's the first read doing? He's running. What's the second read doing? He's running. So what's the lead back? He's tracking for him, but he's going through his read progression. His read progression tells him what? Bend. He's just now getting the ball. So he's thinking bend. So he works back on the bend, and then what we tell him is, don't pass one to go to one. Don't ever pass color. Okay? So watch who he ends up blocking. He winds up blocking the read key. Okay, now, what are we doing here? ACL. Okay? Why? Because look where the backer is. If the backer was inside, we couldn't do that. Okay? It's all depending on the position of the linebacker. Again, I want to get stretch here and set a point. So I've got a point set right here. Okay? Now, this guy right here is doing a hell of a job right here. You see what he's got? He's got his hand in the sternum of the dude. Okay? And then he reads, watch. He knows what the back sleeves are. That lineman does. Okay? Right now he's saying, okay, the 2 read is running. So what is he trying to do? He's trying to lock his back arm out to keep that guy from falling back inside to make the play. Right? He goes hand in the sternum, the 2 reads running, lock your back arm. Just to try to press him out even more because he knows the ball's going to bend. It's got to. The 1 read's running, the 2 reads running, bend it back. Got a new high-def jumbotron there. That guy right there looks like a serial killer. He does. And he looks like one of those guys you see on TV, like he just ate somebody or something. All right, now, that's the shit you notice when you watch this film over and over and go, who the hell is that bastard? All right. Right here now, we're going to run a zone week. Okay? Who's he tracking for? First of all, what's the front ID? It's even. Okay, I got 2 backers in there. That guy, we might have stacked. We could have stacked it, but we didn't. We kept it on as even, no problem. Okay? But he is going to track for the number 4 defender. 1, 2, 3, 4. It don't matter if that guy's there, if he's back here, whatever. Okay? He's tracking for him. Now, when that guy steps up, my tackle's thinking now that the 5 technique is going to go where? To the B gap. So he makes a call. He just says, hey, pull. And pull everybody over with him. Okay? And he's trying to keep, he ought to keep his left arm out of this block. That's the only thing that sucks about this, is that he gets that left arm in there. Okay? But if you imagine this is what we like to do to zone blitz too. We like to run the zone into the zone blitz when we have 20 personnel. Okay? Because if you can imagine this as being field blitz right here. If I got a lead back that can kick out the blitzer, kick out the support player, and we can get that thing clamped off because that guy's going inside, I got a gash now. Now, his dumbass would have been a lot better if he didn't get his left arm into that block. Then he could have come off clean on the linebacker. But what does he do? He's in a bad position, so what does he do right here, Gunner? He displaces him, right? He displaces that guy. It's no different than what a wide receiver would do. He got himself in a bad position, so now he knows that guy's scraping out, just displace him. Just get in his way and get him out of the, displace him from the play. Okay? Let's see everybody here. All right, again, he got himself in a bad position because of his left arm. Right now, what is he doing? That backer's inside. So he's telling the tackle, I got to go. So what's that telling the tackle? Cut his ass. Now that fat ass, he's too fat to cut anybody. Okay? Now, here's one that just makes you want to puke. All right? Because, again, we went into this game, we wanted to run it to the 1-5. So I'm telling that back, he's the lead back. I'm telling him, you've got to insert yourself into the blocking scheme as if you're running the ball, right? That's his rule. The problem is that this guy normally is the guy that's running the ball. He's not used to blocking. Okay? We didn't want to have to flip backs to run it back to the field. So, right there, he's in good shape. Well, he runs right into the back of the guard because he's tracking him. When you watch this from the back, watch this. First of all, what's the 1 read? What's the 2 read? Reach, bang it. Okay? Bang it. So he bangs it. Look at my lead back. He runs it. It almost crumbles my guard's knee. But he needs to fit through here. Because if he fits through here, he's probably going to go and block him, and then that guy's going to score. Okay? All right, here's another pull call. We probably should have declared this stack. I think my center misdeclared this front. But again, we're going fast. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes we make mistakes, but the guys made it right. We definitely should have called this stack. If we declared this stack, where would he be working to? He'd be working at number 42, right? Be no different if he was a tight end. Where's the tackle tight end combination? Got to go and stack defense to the first backer in the box. Okay? So if we declared this stat, he ought to be working to him. We didn't declare a stat. This dumbass is dropping into Tampa 2 coverage on outside zone play. Okay? That's what happens when you get confused. I don't know what the hell's confusing him there, though. Okay? We got a pull call here. Why? Because the backer's stacked on the 5 technique. So he thinks that guy's going to be the B-gap player. Again, he gets his place out on revolt and a block. That ain't good. He's about 370 pounds, though, so he just gets, let's go, blocking him with body presence right there. That's it. Get in my belly. Right on that shit. Okay? Our lead back inserts himself into the scheme as if he's running the ball. What's the one read right now? Reached. Ball's got to bounce. Okay? All right, this is just a one-back zone. Now, what we do, our base way of running this is we bubble away. We bubble away. We want to make these guys play defense. Of course, they're running the field blitz, and this is just like what Gunner's talking about. This one we run into away from the field blitz into this soft-ass end. Okay? What would we tell him? What would we tell him? What is the one read doing right here? He's running. He's running. What's the 2 read doing? Running. Get ready to bend it. All right, now, who's the dumbass here? That guy. That guy's the dumbass. His guy goes, the 3 technique loops out. Don't chase him. Stay on your track. Okay? Everybody else is pretty good. It's a good step right there. 1 read is running, the 2 read is running. Bend it back behind him. We still split the defense. I gave this guy a minus here because I don't teach that cut and roll horse shit. Oh man, wait, I forgot. You can't block the safety. I forgot about him. Okay, I forgot about him. Here he comes. Come on, man. Oops. See what I'm saying? Okay? That's the other thing I would encourage you to do when you're watching the film is see if the safeties understand how to fit the run. A lot of safeties don't understand how to fit. What's the 1 read? Running. See, this is what I'm talking about. Is he reached? Yeah, but look at his body. What's he doing? He's running. What's the 2 read? Reached. Banging. The 1 read's running, the 2 read is reached, bang it. What are we doing back here? ACL. You got to keep working. Here's what I'll tell you. Here's a tip for your lineman when you run the zone. Okay? Look, here's where 70 screws up. If I'm going to cut off a linebacker, okay, I'm coming to cut you off. The second I step, I don't care if I'm folding it or if I'm just tracking it. The second I step and put my eyes on you, you're beating me. 100% of the time. It's like, when I was a kid, I loved that cartoon, the Jungle Book. And they had that snake with the hypnotic eyes. It's like them linebackers can do that to fat-ass linemen. So as I'm running, I look at you, you beat me across my face. If I'm running and I go to the far linebacker, I'm tracking for you. Now I'm going to meet you. But the minute I look at you, I'm screwed. Okay? So that's what happens to 70 here. See, he puts his eyes on that kid, and then look, boom, he goes right over top of him. Okay? Just a tip for you, you're tracking that backside cutoff. Okay, I'm going to go look at some inside zone, and we're going to knock out some play action. Hopefully we can get a few of these done. Okay, we are pacing these guys. See, we're pacing them. We're getting set. They're just getting down in their stances. Your job of pressing the line of scrimmage. That's the other thing, too. Here's what I tell you. Your backs, okay, on the inside zone. We talk about tracking the near hip of the center, okay? And what you're trying to do is get them to get the linebackers to commit. Well, The only way I'm going to get that linebacker, and I want to cut back. I want to run the cutback, okay? But I've got to press the heels of the line before I bend it. Because here's what your guys are going to want to do. They're going to want to get the ball, and they're going to cut it back one time, and it's going to gash. And then the next time they get it, they're going to jump cut almost back, and no, they're not going to get any movement on the second level. So they want to press the heels of the line. Watch how he presses this. Press it, now, right there. See, it's just like, I'm getting my ass whipped right here, but I don't give a shit. He's outside the fit. Okay, bring it back. Now, or bring it back. What's the front ID? It's odd stack. It's odd stack. Oh man, they moved him to a shade. Who cares? Who cares? It's odd stack. Okay? We'll watch a few of these, and I want to get to some zone read stuff. What's the front ID? It's even. We're playing two high safeties, spitting in our face. Okay? Oh yeah, I forgot. This guy doesn't understand how to fit. Nice job, son. You see what I mean? Always see if the safeties can fit. If they don't know how to fit, they're going to run themselves out of plays. Now, these are my ragnauts, by the way. These guys are my twos. These two knuckleheads should pass this off. They shouldn't lock on it. I mean, they lock on it and they winds up spitting, and maybe they're smarter than me, but they should pass that twist off. We work that all the time. Now, this one right here, he almost gets too wide on his track. You see where his angle is? He's almost on his hip. And he just about misses. See this? He just about misses this. He winds up finding it, but he almost misses it. It would help if Fat Fuck there would take a step. Now, here's what I'm saying. This guy right here, he comes up and makes the play. Here's how I tell the backs, is that we're going to get you to the safety. And then one of three things is going to happen, bro. You're either going to make him miss, okay? You're going to run him over, or he's going to tackle you. Now, if it comes down to where, it's like Larry Zonka, old NFL films, right? It comes down to it's inevitable that there's going to be, that he's going to tackle me, I'm going to try to punish his ass for tackling me, okay? I don't like when guys, step out of bounds. We do sideline lift drill. We do all this stuff. And again, don't let your kids do that. That kid's going to get hurt. You know what I mean? Dropping his head, it's sad. But when I see a guy cut tackle, he's a pussy. I don't care how it's like Rich Rodriguez used to say that. He used to say, if you cut tackle a guy, where are you hitting it? And then in front of the shins. So the pain has got to go from the shin all the way up through, into the brain, back down to the shin to tell him it hurts. If you hit him in the fucking face, it goes right down. It hurts. That's what I'm saying. There's not a lot of synapses that get fired. Now, here's what I'm going to tell you this. We are not reading this. We're not reading this. Why? Because we're blocking the read key, right? Well, look, we bubble every time. Why? I want that guy to have to play football. Whether we're reading it or not, they're going to think we are. Now, sometimes we'll line up in this, and I'll arc release the tight end, and we're going to read the end. That becomes our pitch key, and I'll show you that in a minute. So we run it both ways, but we change it up all the time, okay? Good job on the tackle. He's a little high in his pad leverage, but look how he fits this. Nice and square. He fits it up square. Let the back make you right. All right, now, this one right here, this isn't it yet. This is still a straight zone. All right, our front is odd. Now, we game plan these guys. I was treating this like an even front. So I was going to take this guy like the 3 technique. So we're going to out this. Now I'm going to put this combination to him. Okay? So those 4 are blocking those 4. and then the tackle tight end are working up to 45. When 45 goes out on the exchange, because he's a stupid ass, first of all, because he's got a guy outside there. But here's what's happening. We run it. We go so fast, okay? We're making him play option football. Somewhere along the line, his linebacker coach told him, look, if we make this call, you got to exchange out because you got the quarterback, he's got the this, you got the that, and that's all running together, and that kid made a mistake. He exchanged out when they already had a guy for the quarterback. My tackle's tracking for him. So what did the tackle turn it into? A locket. Now that guy's outside, he's wrong. He's a dumbass. That ain't good. Lower your shoulder on it, dude. Okay, these are just, let me get to somewhere where we okay, watch this. Oh yeah, I love this one. Okay? We're playing Tulsa, right? Just to give you an idea, now Tulsa opened up with Alabama this year, held to 188 yards total. Okay, we had 495 yards rushing against them. Had 650 or something. But anyway, here's the deal. My man TA is this guy's a warrior. He can't hardly outrun anybody. But he's run for 2,700 yards for us the last 2 years. So in this game, this is his last carry of the day. We're up 49-7. He's carried the ball 32 times for 306 yards. He needed 314 yards to break a school record. So I told him, I said, hey, you want it? He said, you know I do. I said, okay, well, I'm going to keep feeding you. Well, then people go, well, Coach, it's 49-7. You're setting records? You're damn right. You know what I'm saying? Play defense. Shut up. Who am I to tell that kid you can't set a record? You know what I'm saying? I'm going to punish my guy to feel good for these guys? Shit, who's paying my bills? Him. That guy ain't getting my mortgage paid. But watch. This guy's the leading tackler of the day. Okay? He's had a rough day now. 33 carries, 333 yards. Here you go. Here, come on up, son. Pow. You know what I'm saying? Now, what's the front? It's odd stack. I don't care about that guy. I don't care about him. Because on the inside zone, even though, because here's what people tell you. Oh, we're going to put this guy here, and now you can't run the ball weak. Okay? That's the rule. If I was running the outside zone, that'd be true. I don't have a hat for him. I'm running freaking inside zone. It's going to hit over here. I don't care about him. I'm blocking the box. So my guy's combo like God's staff. That guy's out there thumbing his nuts. This game, 28-28, end of the first quarter. 28-28, end of the first quarter. We beat them 77-35. Again, they're having trouble fitting. What's the front? It's odd stack. We treat it like odd stack. So our combo's here, there. He's thinking, because if that guy was standing there, and that guy was standing there, what would it be? Odd stack. Now, theoretically, what front is that? It's even. There's your 3-3 technique. But, again, I'm not going to sit there and say, oh, you got to think of that. Declare the front and let's roll. Okay? Make a damn call and live with it. Okay, here. But we'll go back to our, it's 3rd down and 1. They got the safety weak. You can't run the ball weak. He's outside the fit. Okay, now I'm going to go back to the, to one of our initial tempos. What I tell you what our tempos was. Fire alarm. It's 3rd down and 1. We send the guys out. Normally when we fire alarm, we're perimeter run, we're play action shot. It's 3rd and 1. We fire alarm it, quick huddle, bang it out, snap the ball, run the inside zone. All right, let me get to our zone read. Okay, here's the zone read out of this. Now, the tight end screws this one up. He should be thinking, that's the pitch key. There's the read key. I don't want to block either of those guys. So as he arcs, he's going to arc and he's going to block. This is what's beautiful about this. Defensive coaches, they're trying to outsmart you. So what do? They're going to crash this guy and exchange him. That's how they, off the backside of the zone read, right? That's what people do, gap exchange it. So now we're going to take our tight end or our H-back, whoever we put there, and we're going to arc him to protect if that guy exchanges. That's the pitch key. That's the give key. Okay? Now, the tight end screws up because his eyes go to the pitch key. He gets confused. He's wrong. But this guy doesn't know whether he should have won his watch. Okay? He's sitting inside. The quarterback pulled the ball, and now the tight end's working up to the safety. All right? We still, and let me show you one where we pull it and throw it. Same thing here. There's the pitch key. There's the give key. He's arcing for the first guy inside the pitch key. Okay? There's your read key. Read key's up the field, give it. Okay, what's the front? It's odd stack. It's odd stack. Right? They're blitzing to even, but we just declared odd stack. Okay? And I'm kind of ripping through these. Okay, watch this. This one's beautiful. He arcs for him. That guy's going to go exchange. There's the read key. There's the pitch key. Give it. Oh, I'm sorry. Now he's pissed because he didn't block the corner. But see what the tight end's doing now? He's protecting. If the quarterback pulls this, that guy's dead. And now we can pitch off the flat defender. Okay? Now what? Let me get to one where we
Coach, let me switch this tape real quick.
Holy cow. Okay, I'm gonna get set first, and then I'll let you guys Right? Oh, I'm sorry, that's a safety. I forgot. He's unblocked. That wasn't. Here's a sideline lift drill. Here's sideline lift. Don't let them just tackle your ass. Lift his ass and punish him for trying to tackle. Okay, now watch. What's the front ID? On stack. But what are these guys going to do? They're going to go out. What are they doing? Scoop to there. What's he doing? Lock it. The back where he's working to by theory is outside the read key. Lock it. Now these are all pace plays too. We're pacing us. Okay, here's sideline lift. Sideline lift. See how he's going to put that foot in the ground and turn back into the guy coming to tackle his ass. Oh, they're going to walk him up. Walk him up, bring him closer. It's an even front. Who cares? Walk out, great. Good for you. We should have just thrown the bubble. We were gashing these guys so bad that we didn't want to throw the bubble on. We just wanted to keep running. Oops. Oops. See what I'm saying? It's bad football. There's bad football everywhere, boys. If you think that you can't go on film and see that in any conference across the country, you're crazy. I'm just telling you. That was our theory at West Virginia. We don't let some safety discourage us from running the ball. Go watch a Sugar Bowl when Steve Slayton tore up Georgia's ass. It's the same stuff. Okay? And they had an All-American, first team All-American at safety, and Slayton embarrassed them. Okay, now we're going to motion in and run the inside zone. It's just a different way to run it. Okay, just to give a different look. Run the same play. Be multiple with the way you want to present it, but it's still just inside zone. Okay? We declare this as odd, right? Basic there. These guys are actually going to go scoop up to him. We probably go odd stack. Scoop it up to him. He's thinking lock it, right? Same rules. Okay, now we run the same play, but we don't motion the guy in. We're going to bubble him to control the flat defender. Same deal. This one, here's look at this guy right here. He's a hump. He likes to do what they call noodling. Does everybody know what noodling is? I never heard of it until I got out to Oklahoma. Noodling is when you go out in some lake or river or something and you stick your fucking hand down in a big ass hole where a catfish lives, and they bite your arm and then you pull the son of a bitch out. It's right. That's how you fish for it. That's how the Okies do it. That's how the Okies do it. But yeah, he likes to do that. He's teabagging that guy. Okay, motion him back in. Run the inside zone. Oh man, don't tell me 44 still hasn't figured out how to fit it. Okay, same deal. Let me get to, that was a bear front. You can't run the inside zone versus bear. You can't. They're going to step it down. What is it? It's bear. It's bear. Base, scoop. That guy's got the tough block, and we got the cutter. If we weren't cutting off him, what would we do to that guy? Read it. Go with the safety. Punish your ass for trying to tap it. Then you get to one where we pull it and throw it. 20 personnel, there we go. Let's send it here. Okay, watch this. Now we're going to motion him over, and he's going to become the tight end on the arc. Okay? There's the pitch key. There's the read key. So who's he got to arc with these two? First guy inside the pitch key. Arc it, block in, read it out, Dave. Pull it. You know what I'm saying? It's like stealing. Okay, watch this. This is beautiful. Where's the read key? Right there. Where's the pitch key? Right there. Read it, pull it. Pitch key comes in, throw it. Now you're making this guy have to defend option football instead of through a pitch. He's throwing a bubble. Okay? That's no different than running zone read option triple stuff. It's just that our guy, instead of coming from here and getting around, is now a bubble outside, which your quarterbacks all can throw bubbles. Okay, this is just the way we run it out of empty. Now we're going to speed motion, look like speed sweep. We're still running inside zone. Gas it. All right? My guys, what are they blocking? Inside zone. What are we doing? We're going to go base. We're going to go base. We're going to tag to him. What's he doing? Lock it. Why? His guy's outside the read key. Lock it. Watch this. You're going to have a bad day. 11. Join the T-Bag group. Okay, now, another way to present it. I know I've gone over here. We need to get to the damn play actions. Another way to present it. Now we're going to run a little orbit motion. Our number one play out of this alignment is our hand sweep. So now we orbit motion the dude in, fake the hand sweep, and hand the inside zone. Okay? Here's what's awesome about it. You're being multiple in your run game, but I'm not changing anything for these, for the humps up front. What are they blocking? They're blocking an even front. Okay? All right, and then one more here, split zone. Because this is great. I love the split zone. Now we're going to motion the dude in, and he's going to become the backside cutter on the split zone. Here's a downfield block for you. Those are the things you got to be working on. So now he motions in. Now we run the inside zone to the left. What's the front? Odd stack. It's odd stack. Okay? Block the front. Center almost gets hung up too much, but he's back blocking on the read key now. Here's a good one here. Motion in. What's the front? It's even. Here's what you got to look at. First of all, there's two eye safeties. That's embarrassing. It's 3rd down and 1. Okay? That's a spit in the face. All right? Now, the second thing I'm looking at is saying, are they adjusting to the motion? Watch this big adjustment. Come on now. You're going to try to defend. Now I've got an extra blocker in here, and you're playing 6 in the box. Cheers. Good luck. Watch this, Gash. Somebody say, I can run through that. Okay? 77-35. 690 yards offense, 70 points going into the fourth quarter. Could have scored 100. Should have. All right? Here's a different way to run the split zone. Now we just go out of a different set. We got tight end set now. Short motion in, split zone back. All right? Just another way to do it. See how we do this one here. Okay, now we're going to go orbit motion and run a split zone. All right, so that's all just inside zone stuff. Just multiple ways to get to the same play. All right, real quick. Am I doing all right? You guys okay?
You're
Let's
fine.
keep going. Okay. Just quickly, we'll hit some play action stuff. It's nothing revolutionary. Okay? Here's post-out combination. Here's what we're doing here, just so you understand protection. We're gonna play fake. It's not a play action as much as it's just a play fake. Play fake in the protection. We're 6-man. It's man protection to the play fake side. It's slide back. Okay? He's dueling 1 to 2. If both duels come, that guy's hot. All right? So our hot reads, our hot throws are built in. Okay? This is just a bang 8. Here's what we're doing off of this. If we run so much weak zone that they're bringing the 4th defender down. Okay? When they bring the 4th defender down, you got one-on-one matchup here. If the free safety's playing in the middle of the field, we're going to work the boundary. If the free safety's playing in the middle of the formation, we're going to work the field. Pretty simple. Okay? Same thing here. They brought the safety down. Where's the safety at? Middle of the field. Where are we going to work? Work the boundary. We want to stem him up, attack his leverage, again, make him defend what he's defending. That's really bad corner play. I mean, he's worried about getting run by. Quarterback's timing. We want to hit that bang 8. We're going little token play fake, okay? And then it's 3 and throw. If we're taking the bang 8. If he's going to work it down to the check down to the out, he'll go 3 and the hitch and throw and work it out, okay? Like this right here. Watch quarterback now. We think it's quarters coverage, right? We're thinking the safety's going to come down into the box. He squeezes off the post, okay? Quarterback's going play fake. He's taking a 3. He sees the safety squeezing the post. Take a hitch, and then work the check down to the out. Little token play fake. All right, now on this one, this is just an example of this. Where's the safety playing? Middle of formation, work the field. He probably could have taken the out here. He's got a strong ass arm, so he could have taken this out. He fits this one in there pretty tight. But it wouldn't have been wrong to take the out there either. Safety's in the middle of formation. We're going to work the field on this. Okay, verticals. This is, all of our 4 vertical theory stuff is all side adjusted. Okay, we side adjust all of our verticals, and when we get cover 2, we're trying to hit a hole shot. Okay, and we still have our bender into the boundary. Unless we want to make the bend of the field, we can tag it and put the bend of the field if we want to, but we'll throw the bender into the boundary as a base, and we want to work the hole shot over here if the safety doesn't get off the hash. Again, we're P-faking into the protection. All right? Little play action, little play fake. You get cover 2. Of course, you don't want your wideout to get jacked like that, because he's got to get the easiest release, the path of least resistance on this, to get into this area to pressure him. Okay, to get him off the hash. So now we can work the bender to the check down. Okay, again, just a little token play fake. All right, this one winds up being a hole shot here. Of an ugly night. Safety doesn't get off the hash, take the shot. When you got the shot, you got to take it. Safety doesn't get off the hash, give your guy a chance to make a play. All right? This one, they greened off the backer, nobody takes a check down. They're walling off the inside seam. The safety's over the top of the shot, or the whole shot, so take the check down. Okay, versus cover 4. Versus cover 4, or any type of soft coverage, we're going to convert outside. He's going to make a decision at 10 yards, he'll push it to 15 and bring it back. We can still work the bender to the check down. All right? Now, here's what we work this a ton now. Watch the timing on this. Ball's coming out. He hasn't come out of his break yet. They got to be on the same page. The quarterback's seeing the corner, he's soft, the ball's coming out, that dude's coming out now. And he knows he's getting the ball here. Okay, so he's coming out expecting to make the catch. Same thing here. Soft corner, press it, bring it out. All right, now, this is the one we were talking about earlier, about the getting the safety down. We run the outside zone, formation in the boundary, ran the outside zone of the field. Now they got the safety down, okay? Releasing number 2 out of the backfield. That guy's putting the world of hurt. Okay, he cannot wall him. He can't carry him. That's what the run game does for you. They get the safety down. Keep bringing the safety down. Now we want to work it back to that weak side seam. Okay, put the formation in boundary, work the weak seam. All right. Versus cover 3. Again, we're going to convert outside, but we're thinking seam. We're thinking seams here. Okay, safety rolls to the middle of the field. They're trying to roll over the top of this guy and disrupt his release. They want to kick him over the top. Safety rolls to the middle of the field. Quarterback's thinking take the seam out now. Okay, even though we're still converting out here when that corner goes soft, we're still going to convert it. You get a clean release in the seam. Safety rolls in the middle of the field. Take the seam. Versus 2 Mike. You know, it matters. Sometimes people just take their Mike backer and they run him to a spot. Sometimes they work off the release of number 3 receiver. It depends. Okay? What we try to do is determine how's the Mike backer playing in 2 Mike, in Tampa 2. Okay? If he's just going to work himself to a spot on the field, then we're going to work the beater route right in behind him, right where he drops from. Now watch this. These guys just ran the spots. So now they've got Tampa 2. The Mike backer opens up his hips, and he's running to a spot. A lot of guys will work off the release and progress off of number 3. So if that's the case, if he were to open to number 3, we may call a beater to the field. You understand? Now the Mike backer's just open and running to a spot, so we run the beater route right in behind where the Mike vacated. And all we're doing is high-low off the check down. High-low and the will off the check down. The Mike backer's running to a spot. But Willie Backer sets his feet, check down's coming out, run him right into where the Mike vacated. Very simple, okay? Now, this will be the last one. I'm going to close it up here, but smash switch. This is just now, instead of running, again, we run so many of the bang 8 concept, now we're just going to convert it. We don't convert it, we call it, but it's going to be a smash switch concept, running a post flag off of the leverage of the defender. Here versus cover 2, we want to attack the safety. We want to get a release, step inside the corner, release it out. Now, he does not do a good job of attacking that safety. He bends this route too much. What helps us is a quarterback, which you'll see from the back here. A great throw. Okay, he's working the high-low off the corner now. But watch what he does. Watch how he keeps this safety to the middle of the field. Eyes to the middle of the field, trusts it, and then brings it back, and now he's just high-low in the corner. This one's a little bit better on the stem. As far as bringing it in, I like him to maybe press it a step more before he brings it out. A lot of times guys will quicken stuff up in games, you know what I mean? They don't press their routes as far as you want them to. This is a really good route here. Right here. Again, token play fake, 3, hitch, and throw. This throw should be completed. And versus cover 2, we're looking at a 22-yard shot in the hole if we're going to take the flag. We want it to be right at 22-yard depth. This is the perfect one. Ball's on the 27, 28-yard line, right out to the 50. That was a great route by the receiver there. Okay, this one just makes him, this is whatever. These guys, they weren't very good. He falls down. He twists them up. And now it's take it to the house. Okay? Now versus the soft corner, now we're going to work off the corner. Instead of working off the safety, we'll work the same route progression, But versus a soft corner, we're going to really turn it into a post corner route off of this guy. On this throw, it's going to be a little bit, use the sideline to protect yourself. Okay, if you got to throw him open a little bit, and we'll allow him to bend this back. Okay, that's just versus the soft corner. We're going to double cut off the corner now. Okay, last one. Now we're just running out of spread. Again, a little token play fake. All right, this is a nice route here. Watch, boom. Now that guy right here, he doesn't know if he's going to break it on the post or if he's going to take it on the corner. Okay? Now we don't give him options off of it. Like some people will run a cop route, a corner post route. We're going to call it for him, and then we want him to work his stem. Okay? He does a nice job of setting that route up. All right, so that's just some of the base play actions that we have off the outside zone play, and I really appreciate you guys' attention. Thank you very much.
Ball as quick as possible. As soon as our guys get their hand in the dirt for a second, and we get set for a count, we're snapping the football. Now, what do we do on those plays? And a lot of times, our philosophy on those plays is to have some kind of full zone perimeter run, whether it be a speed sweep or a quick pitch play, something that, because you got to understand, the defense is not going to be set. Okay, so we don't want to do something where we're trying to man block. We want full zone perimeter runs, and then we also do a lot of play action, full slide gap protection, and want to throw the ball down the field. Okay, so we get a lot of vertical passes out of the fire alarms. Okay, that's just a concept that we have. We go into every game with probably about 7 to 10 fire alarm plays that we can run during those games. And then the other thing, throw the book hammers with a little Wildcat package, that everybody's doing right now. It's just a single wing football. Okay, we want to present the option a bunch of different ways. Which right today, what we're going to talk about is our gap game. I'll get into how one of the adjustments off the gap game is a power G option that we run. And then, our thoughts about we want to have a physical hard edge mentality. We want to have great discipline. We're number one in our conference in fewest penalties. And then have great ball security, which is one of the areas we've got to improve on. Okay? What I want to start talking about today in this first session here is about our gap run game. Okay, we have two basic run concepts. Okay, and as an O-line coach, it's real important, and this is and again, this kind of sounds like plenty talk, but it's really something that we believe in, is that I think the goal, if you want to really be good at running the football, this is the way we did it at West Virginia, the way we had done it at Clemson when we were there, and what we're doing at Tulsa now, is if you want to be really solid at running the football, you want to try to be multiple in your run game by changing your formations, changing your ball carriers, changing the action on the back end, but without changing things for your offensive line. Okay, keeping it as simple as possible for the guys up front. We want to keep it simple, not only from a standpoint of making things kind of easy on them as far as their ability to operate efficiently and effectively, but also because of our tempo. We want to be able to go fast. So we try to keep things as simple as possible so we can also play with that tempo that we want. But this is one of our two base run concepts. We zone block. Okay, we run the inside and outside zone. And I know that Tony told me that's something that Gunnar talked to you guys about. So I want to focus on the gap schemes. So we have kind of three base gap schemes that we're going to talk about: our power, our counter, and then we run a little hand sweep or a buck sweep out of the shotgun, which is really was our top run play this year. I think we averaged, every time we snapped our buck sweep this year, we averaged a little under 12 yards of carry on it. So it's really a great play for us. But the first thing that we would put in is our power, okay? And this is nothing more than, it's a base power play. If we just go from the H-back to this little hip player, whatever you want to call it, you can get to this formation a variety of different ways. And what I'll show you as we get into our cutoffs, we may start out in a trip set and motion this guy in. Instead of running the little Utah or orbit motion and all that, we may motion the H-back in to get to his position to make his kick out block. Okay? So we'll change our formations and run this. We may run this and run a quarterback power off a little play fake. So there's some things that we'll do on the back end and change it up. But as far as our base power play, starting with the H-back, obviously he's going to kick out that end. Okay, we want him to dig the end out, Just like you were doing if there was a fullback coming out of the backfield and kicking out an end or kicking out an edge play. Okay? From the play side tackle, he is on a B-gap track. And that's all we tell him. And it will fit to any formation, any defensive front that you put up there. Okay? Is that we want our tackle is going to be going on a B-gap track to the number 2 linebacker in the box. All right? To the second backer in the box. Now, if I had an odd stack defense up here, who's he going to track to? He's going to track to the Mike. Okay? If I put an odd defense up there, who's he going to track to? He's going to track to the backside backer. Okay? So he's on a B-gap track to the number 2 backer in the box. And he blocks whatever's across. Now, in this case right here, we get a 3 technique in there. Okay? And what I'm going to tell him on this particular play is I want him to take the 3 technique and make him the A-gap player. Okay? Because the play side guard is going to be on an A-gap track to the number 2 backer in the box. But I want, if I can make that down lineman, the A-gap player, now I've got a better angle, my tackle's got a better angle to come off on that backside backer than the guard does. Okay? So we want that double team to work to the number 2 backer in the box versus the in front. Center's going to block back on the nose, and the key coaching point there is for him to aim high on the nose. Okay, aim high. If I've got a shade, which is kind of tough to block back on the shade, I still want it. It almost turns into a base block. So I want to aim into his high shoulder. If I'm blocking back to a 1 technique, I'm aiming to his high shoulder. If he goes up the field, I don't care. I don't want a lot of penetration, but I don't want him coming across my face and making a play across my face. Okay? If we happen to have a 3 technique backside, he's going to aim high on the 3 technique. All right? The backside tackle's on a pick and hinge. He'll set down the B gap, just secure the B gap, looking for any type of run throughs, that sort of stuff, and then he'll hinge. And all I want him to do on the hinge is he steps down the side, protects that B gap, is to hinge back and just get a hand on the shoulder of the backside end. Okay, just to force that guy out the field where he doesn't come screaming off the edge and make the play. All right. And I'll talk about our backfield action here in a minute. But our running back, we line him up at 7 yards deep. Okay, his inside foot's going to be aligned on the outside foot of the guard. Okay, and his track is he wants to hug the double team. He wants to basically, he's going to be tracking right through the B gap, right up the guard's hip. But he wants to hug that double team. Okay, and then what we'll do something. A lot of times with this, we'll run this little orbit motion. Okay, we get the slot receiver, whatever you guys want to call him, the Z, we call him our 2-man. Okay, he'll come in motion, and as he gets to the alignment of the split end, he'll work back to a depth where he's even with the tailback. On the snap of the ball, he'll reverse his field, and then the quarterback and the slot receiver are going to carry out an option fake. Okay, and one of our answers to a defensive adjustment is to actually pull the ball, and they're not even pulling really, but it's because it's just a token fake to the power and run the power option, which we'll talk about here in a minute. Okay, so this is our base power play. Now, once we before I go to the next concept here, this is a great play. Does anybody have any questions right now on that? On how we go about it? Okay, pretty easy deal. All right. This is a great play versus field blitz, okay? Which we get a lot. This is all American blitz, right? The end is going to pin, or is going to long stick. The nose is going over the top, dropping the backside end, bringing the Sam Mike, okay? All American blitz, NSA blitz, whatever you want to call it, field blitz, okay? Here's how we handle this. This is a great adjustment to it. Is that our play side tackle versus field blitz? He'll make a call that's going to tell him that we're going to slow the blocking scheme down. We're going to change it up a little bit. He makes a call. We call it Momo. Okay? What Momo means, I got a man on me and a man outside. So he'll make a Momo call. When he makes a Momo call, he's telling everybody to slow down. We want them to take that. We want the defensive lineman to be able to long stick it. Okay? Then the tackle's going to take that 5 technique and wash it. Right? The guard now is going to work to number 2 backer in the box still. All right, the center, which is really key on the Momo, is that now instead of him working back to the 3 technique, he's anticipating that shade crossing his face. So he waits for the shade to cross and then he washes him. Okay, takes him where he wants to go. The pick and hinge on the backside will wind up hinging to the 3 technique. The H-back now is going to kick out the edge blitzer. And then the backside guard will wrap for the Mike. on the C screen. Okay? And now this has been a really great adjustment for us when teams are field blitzing. Been a big play for us, which I'll show you when we get into our cutups. All right, but it is a good play to check into field blitz. If we line up in this formation, we may have a check with each system, right? You know, everybody does that. It's another way to control your tempo. You get up to the line, you know, you get a little late kick, whatever, however you want to go through your procedure. And then if you're getting field blitz, this is a great check. Okay, it's a way to get a hat on a hat and increase the defense versus field blitz. All right, the next thing I want to talk about is often adjustment. One of the big ways that a team is going to make an emphasis to defend the power is by wrong arming that H-back. Okay? We're going to try to spill it. So what we'll do now is everybody's going to block the power. Nothing changes. Nothing's changed at all, except for the H-back and the pull and guard. Now the H-back, he wants him to wrong arm. So as he gets in him, he wants to take the same angle that he's going to block on the power. As that guy comes underneath the wrong arm, he just logs him. Okay, flips his hips on him and seals him inside. Our backside, our pull and guard now, instead of getting up and hugging the double team, he's going to take it around the log to block the first backer in the box. Okay? We bring the orbit motion as he reverses out now. The split end is going to block his cover down. All right, and then we're running option. This is just a token fake on the power, just a token fake on the power, and now we're coming out and we're pitching off the flat defender. Okay, so it's an answer to when you're getting wrong on your power. It's an answer to it. We got another answer with our sweep. We'll get to that in a second. Now what I want to do is go through some cut-ups and just show you this stuff so you know it works, right? That's what everybody brings. I actually did bring my best stuff. Unlike Dana said, I didn't just bring my good plays. I only brought my good plays. Everybody's got crappy plays. Who wants to look at the crappy plays? I want to look at plays where a defense is getting gashed. Okay, we just bring the Utah motion back again. And what we'll do, particularly get down here in the red zone, we like that power G option in the red zone. It's a good play, a good scoring play. On this, though, it's just a walk-in. Look at it from the back. Okay, the tackler's going B-gap track to the number 2 backer in the box. B-gap track number 2, he's on A-gap track to number 2. Obviously, we've got an A-gap defender right now, so we just want to close that thing down. We got to kick the end out. He'll wrap for the front side backer, and we got a great gash there. This is also a great tempo play. Okay? I guarantee you what happened right before this, and I have to look back on it. I will tell you what happened was probably we had a big play that got us down to the 5-yard line. It's first to go from the 5, and we tempoed their ass. We call it quick, as fast as we can. Now that play probably was snapped, you know, with a 40-second play clock. Once they set the ball and all that stuff, we probably got that play snapped with about 27 seconds left on the clock. Same thing here. Now, here's what happens here. Okay, we got an odd stack front. Let me look at this from the back. We'll come back and get it from the side. We got an odd stack front. So what's the tackle's rule? B-gap track to the number 2 backer in the box. Okay, now on his B-gap track, that end is going to cross his face. Okay? So the end crosses his face. Our H-back, who's working to the end, he actually works up to the Sam backer. Okay, kicks the Sam backer out. The problem here, the guy that's the problem, is the left guard gets too wide on his pull path. He's got to understand, versus an odd front, where's the double team at? The double team's in the A-gap now. Okay? Because my guard and center are working to the backside backer. All right, so we're just washing everything down. The left guard gets a little too wide on his track. Right here, he ought to be coming right off this, hugging what we call a double team, and popping off on the mic now. Okay? He gets too wide. We still got a good crease and a good gash on him, but they would really help if our guard kept it tight. Okay, here's the other thing I would say to you, all right? I'm not worried about safeties. Okay, some guys will look at it and go, oh, we can't get a hat on that guy. We don't push crack. Unless the guy's an absolute stud, we're not push cracking anybody. Because here's what I think about. I don't know how many of you guys, maybe I might offend somebody here, but so be it, is that this. There's 119 Division I A teams playing college football. There's 110 pussies playing free safety. Okay? There's about maybe 10 of them in the country you really got to worry about. All right? If you got a great free safety, you push crack, because the only pussy that's bigger than the free safety is a corner. They don't want to make any tackles. Okay? So we're going to force them. And here's the thing. Look at this here. That guy, yeah. Okay, good. Nice job, son. Give him a little ankle tackle. Okay? And here's the other thing, too, I'll tell you. In the first quarter, maybe the safety's kicked over and he comes up on first quarter and he gets our back right in the hole for a 3-yard gain. He drops him, he gets up, pumps his chest and all that shit. And in the fourth quarter, we're running through his ass. In this game right here against Tulane, our running back, and this wasn't even our starter, but our running back, we had 495 yards rushing against Tulane. Okay? Now, on the flip side of that, why do we do that? Well, it's because they were playing everybody back, trying to keep everything inside and in front and all that stuff, and we just gashed their ass. Okay, on the flip side, we played New Mexico about 6 weeks earlier. They were playing press man coverage, daring us to throw the football, all that stuff. We throw for 490 yards, and we beat them up pretty bad too. So, the offense is versatile enough to be able to accommodate for all that stuff. But my point being is that the guy jumps up in the first quarter, starts pumping his chest. I got a little computer glitch here. You help me out?
I don't know.
I'm asking you now. Before you were like, hey, this guy knows what he's doing now. It froze up on him. A guy jumps up pumping his chest in the first quarter. In the fourth quarter, we're going to test his manhood and find out if he really wants to make those plays or not.
So you did know.
All right, now here's an adjustment to field blitz again. Okay, we got the look we want, right? They're giving us a shade to the field. It was a high field blitz look for this team, and then we check this play into it. Our tackle makes a Momo call. Okay, what he's saying when he's saying Momo is everybody slow down. I'm thinking that this guy's going to be coming. We think this guy's going to launch stick. He doesn't. The tackle slows it down though and winds up staying on him because he knows, hey, once I make the Momo call, I'm no longer track blocking it, I'm man blocking it. He anticipates that guy going inside, he does it, so he just wheels back out on him. Okay? But by making the call, it does tell our center to slow down and to pin the guy back. Because we know that the nose is going to go over the top, generally on the field blitz. We got 53, he's a hell of a player, he's a drop guy, but he's not used to playing linebacker. Okay? He's used to being a great defensive end. So he's trying to make a play in space now. It's not his forte. All right? Again, on the Momo call, it makes our H-back now. It's blocking the edge pressure. Our pulling guard's looking for the C-scraper. And then our guard knows that he's on the A-gap track to the number 2 backer in the box. Okay, so it's a nice adjustment run to field blitz. Get another look at it here. Same deal. This time the end does long stick it, so we wash the end. Here we got the Momo, the end long sticks it, kick out the edge pressure, guards wrapping for the C-scraper, center slows it down instead of blocking back hard on the 3 technique, waits for the shade to cross them and then wash it. We know we're picking and hinging on the 3, and then the end, who's used to being an end, not being a linebacker, it makes a great play this time, but we want to gain 7 yards. Okay, so it's just a way to take a potential for a negative yardage play and turn it into a positive. One more look at it. Of course, our dumbass over here doesn't line up on the ball this time. We wind up losing a 16-yard gain. They say well, still went on the ball, which I don't know, whatever. You look at it from the back, it's the same deal. So the tackle slows down now, lets the end wash, or lets the end cross the space and washes him. We know that the 1 technique's coming back over the top of the center. He's waiting on him. Get on track, get the ball to safety. On the which could have been a negative yard, but we'll turn it to a positive. Okay, here's another way to get to it. Now, instead of running the Utah motion and all that stuff, now we're just running a little zip motion, bringing our H back into the box to block the power. Nothing changes for the guys up front. Okay, and that's what being multiple in your run game is having the ability to run the same plays out of different formations, different motions, different actions without changing the rules for the guys up front. Challenge the safeties. Let safeties make tackles. If your safety's the leading tackler at the end of the game, you probably win. Okay? Now we're going to run some quarterback powers. All right, first one again, it's a red zone play. Inside a little wildcat package. Right, we got a wide receiver in here, a quarterback. Our quarterback's lined up outside out here, and just run the power off the speed sweep action. Same play up front. The only problem, or the difference that we have here is we're running this out of an unbalanced set. This is actually our tight end here. He's now going to pick and hinge. Okay, our left tackle's over here playing tight end. All right. He does a horseshit job of blocking down the C gap. Let's say, he gets caught blocking on an edge instead of covering the guy up. Our pulling guard does a nice job of just making it right. Same play on that little wildcat package. Okay, obviously, we'll run a speed sweep off of this. We'll run a little reverse off of this, out of this. So there's a lot of things that we do out of this package that they've got to be prepared for. But our base play out of that set is running the power. This is a critical situation in this game. Minute 18 left, fourth quarter. We're up by 3. We got to kind of end the game now. This is a big play for us. Now instead of running out of that unbalanced set, we're just running out of the 10 personnel. Put our quarterback out here, bring our wide receiver into the quarterback, run the slot in motion, looking like speed sweep, and run the power. Okay, and what's nice about it up front, the offensive line, all they know is we're running power. They just run their power block. Okay? Now, my big moose right here screws this up. He ought to be going B. He got tracked to number 2. He works at the number 1 linebacker for some reason. But we still want to spin it. Nobody's blocked at 45. He's a pretty good player. He should have probably made that tackle. 70 should have been blocking his ass, and then the guard should have been on 30. Would have been clean. Last look at the quarterback power. Same thing now out of the same formation we just looked at. Just out of running off the speed sweep action. All right. Now, and again, in answer to the wrong arm, okay? And this is a big play we like to run down the red zone. So what's been happening? We've been running the power, the wrong arm on our H-back. All right? So all we do now is we just run power option. We're going to log the wrong arm. Okay, so he steps, and I'd like him to step more towards the midline of that end and sell the kick out. Okay, but the guy's jumping so hard inside, it's an easy log. Okay, our guard now is going to get out and around the log to the first backer in the box. Okay, so he picks up the first backer in the box. Again, off the orbit motion, our split end is going to block the slots cover now. And then we're going to pitch off the flat defender. So just having the threat of that helps clean things up. Because now, and again, we want to run option football to force them to play assignments on defense. We bring it around. Now, and one point of coaching point here on your guards, okay, is that if we're just running our base power, if these are my feet, let's say I'm playing left guard right here. Okay, here's my feet. All right? We're not taking on our base power, I'll go back and show you the cutups. We're not taking a pull like you've been taught to pull since you were in youth football, where we're throwing our elbow and taking our first step out. Because I don't want to open my hips up on the power. I want to try to square shoulder pull it. So what we do is, if this is my feet, I'm going to take a little drop step with my left foot, and then I'm going to shuffle pull. So I would take a drop step, and then I'm going to shuffle to try to keep my shoulders square. Okay, on the power pull, because I've got to hug the double team. All right? Now, when we go to power option, now I got to get out and around that log Now I'm going to throw my shoulder and open my hips up. Okay? So my footwork changes. There's two different pull paths from the power to the power option. All right, it's just a key little coaching point for you. Here, here we're taking that step. We're opening up our hips and getting out and around. Okay, and then the other play off of this obviously is the naked off the power. This is in a bowl game. You know, it's something that we had worked on. We knew we were going to get man coverage down here. They're a big man team. So we just motion them across now. A little zip motion back across. Give them power action. And then sink the fullback out and you'll see the exit back out the back door. The guy, you'll see what happens is the guy that's got him in coverage, when he flips, we flip him over, the 38 is going to come over with him. Okay, I got him man. So he motions back, and then where's 38? He's running up the field. He lost. Okay, so it's just a way to hide your H-back is off the power, on the power naked. Everything else, everybody else is just blocking power. Okay, the difference, the only guy that's different is the backside tackle now doesn't pick and hinge. Okay, obviously we don't want him to pick and hinge and force the end into the quarterback. So we just tell the backside tackle, you block, everybody else is blocking power, backside tackle uses blocking B gap. And it just becomes a 1-2 read. Most of the time it's just a dump to the fullback. You know, we wouldn't call that if we're getting roll weak coverage. Okay, on the counter here. Once you teach the power, you've taught the counter to the play side guys. Okay? And here's the other thing that we can do, and this is what drives, I think, defensive coaches nuts. I know particularly our defensive staff can't understand how we can call our formations, okay? We call this formation right here twins, right? If that back is stacked here, it's twins. If the H-back is set weak, it's twins. We don't tell the backs where to line up, okay? Our backs line up play specific. So once we make a call, we may say twins right, and then we make the play call. That tells our backs where to line up. Because we don't have time. We're not sitting there going to signal in twins right, H left, all that crap. No, you go twins right, okay? And right here, if we go twins right and we went 91 counter, that just tells these guys where to line up. If we wanted them to stack out, we go twins right, stack it, 91 counter. Okay? Now we run the same play with an I stack, if we want to. Our backs know that based by our kind of the default setting for the backs is on counter, we're going to line up the split backs. If we want them to stack it, we'll tell them to stack it. But our defensive coaches can't understand it. If we put the H-backs weak, it's still twins. If we put the H-backs strong, it's twins. The H-backs alignment, the tailbacks alignment are all predicated on the play call. Okay, that way you can keep your tempo moving. All right. So my point being, I guess, on that is that the running back coaching is really critical as far as alignment goes. They need to understand. And a lot of it's common sense. Obviously, if we're going to run the inside, we'll run the inside zone out of this, for instance. We'll run split zone out of this same look. But if we're running split zone to the right, they're going to get the same alignment here. We don't have to tell them where to line. We just call the play, and they know where to line up. All right. So on the counter, though, everybody else is the same except for the guard and the H-back. Okay? Everybody else has got the same exact responsibility. Play side tackle on the counters, B-gap track, number 2 backer in the box. The play side guard is A-gap track, and he's also working the number 2 backer in the box. Okay? The center blocks back, the backside tackle picks and hinges. It's the same exact scheme. Okay? The only thing that changes now is the guard on the counter is going to take a trap. Is going to take a trap technique as far as his pull path goes, because he's going to trap the end. So his footwork is different than if he's blocking the power. Okay, but it's also different than if he's blocking the power option. Okay, because of his angle. Now he doesn't want to get to where he's opening up to 90 degrees. He just wants to take a pull path where he's opening up 45 degrees so he can go dig the end out. Okay, so the guard is going to trap the end, Now the H-back's wrapping for the first backer in the box. They're basically just switching responsibilities to what they had on the power. Okay? So the teaching is very simple. Once you teach the power, all you got to do now is say, okay, look, guard, here's what you're going to do different. You're going to go trap the end, and the fullback's going to be the wrap guy for the first backer in the box. Okay? Here's what we tell our little orbit motion guy, just to give him a rule. If we run a counter, let's say we put this guy in the stack. Okay? If the back is to the orbit motion, he reverses out and runs option. Because that's what the quarterback's going to have to fake away from him. If the back is away from the motion, he runs reverse fake. Now the quarterback's hand or foot, the kind of the ball movement is here to here on the fake. Okay? As compared to if we're running, obviously if we're running off the stack, he opens and then carries out the option with the H-back. Or with the slot back. Does everybody understand that? So he has a rule. This Utah motion guy has a rule. Right? If I got stack, I reverse back. If they're split, I carry out the reverse. Okay, so again, it makes us multiple. Now, why would we want to carry out this reverse? It matters how these guys are going to stem to this motion. Sometimes when we get to this motion, they'll bring the safety down. We want to have somebody to control the flat defender weak if they're bringing the guy down. Okay, which I'll show you in the cutoffs how that happens. All right, now we'll also run this play with the quarterback, the counter. We'll run quarterback counter as well off of the speed sweep action. All right, we got split backs. So what's his rule? Carry out the reverse. Now, see how the reverse affects this play. They're bringing a quarter cap. He carries out the reverse. Look at all the defenders running to him. And all we're doing is block. And again, our guys up front, they don't know, are we carrying out option, are we carrying out, they don't care. All they know is that the counter was called. Okay? He's B-gap track to where? The number 2 backer in the box. Well, as he goes to the B-gap track, he's got a blitzer. Wash it. Right? We're going to kick out the end. He ends up the field. He's already kicked himself out. Our H-back now wraps. He should be wrapping for the play side backer. Well, as he wraps around, the play side backer's blitz B. He just picks up the backside guy on the straight. Gets in his way enough to get us out. Okay, here's one where the end crosses to tap his face. B-gap track. Okay, he's tracking the number 2 backer in the box. He crosses my face. Wash him. Okay, the guard's on a pretty good path here. He just goes and traps the first backer in the box now. Now what I like to do is I like to have the H-back recognize this, work off the guard's block and pick up the backside backer. He gets caught outside. I want to put this on here just to show you this. The H-back's got to have the ability to adjust a little bit based on what's happening. It's a good physical run. Okay? You know, this guy had 2,700 yards rushing for us the last 2 years. Okay? After contact, he gains 5 yards. All right? What I try to tell the running backs when you want to run the football, if you got to sell your running backs on being physical after contact. So if they can average 3 yards after contact, they average 3 yards after contact. If you hand the ball to a running back 300 times during the course of the season, he's going to wind up with 900 more yards rushing just by averaging 3 yards after contact. I don't want to see guys step out of bounds or, I want to see them finishing runs. Okay? And that's a big thing. They want to get their yards on stuff, but sometimes you got to earn them. Yard after contact. He winds up getting 5 there, 5 the hard way. Big point in the game. We just got a turnover. Came out the first down play, ran the counter. It's a great job. Look at the path of the guard. The path of the pulling guard. 45 degrees and dig him out. Not a great job by the H-back. He gets caught outside. You ought to stay inside the guard and clean it up. But nonetheless, our back gets downhill and into the crease. This is a downhill running play. Okay? Backs opposite, carry out the reverse. See what the reverse does to that linebacker? Like for him to get up and inside of this. Again, the end is kind of squeezing it off, so we're going to log the end. This is a tough defense to run this against, stacked defense, just because of the angle that the tackle has to the mic. He's trying to work to the mic, he gets collapsed down. It's a tough defense to run it against. That's why he has to bounce this thing, but I like him to just stick his foot in the ground and go challenge the guy. Anyway, he does finish the run. That's what we want. Okay, now, same thing. We do this with the power, we do it with the counter. Right, we line up in trips, motion the H back in. And again, if we may call this motion one way, right? So sometimes he may have to motion all the way across, which I'll show you. Let's see, I got some cut-ups up where he motions across and comes back. It's all predicated on the play call as to where he motions to. He gets himself into position to make his block, okay? Gets himself into his alignment. Again, they try to wrong arm the trap, so we log it. I like for him to stay inside of this kick out. You know, the H-back does a pretty good job here. The tailback's got to stick his foot in the ground right here and hit that crease, get north and south. And I want him running sideways. Good job on the double team, working to the backside backer. Okay, they know they're both tracking and number 2 backer in the box. Snap it off. Third down and 1. Now he's going to motion all the way across now to get to where he needs to be to run the play. Now we're going to run it out of a stack eye look. Okay, so he motions all the way across the formation. But all we did right here is called trips left, zip, 91 counter. Okay, he knows now, he just knows it based on the play call that he's got to motion all the way across. We don't call this motion, 5 different ways to get him to where he has to be. The backs just got to know where they have to be on the snap of the ball to execute their assignment. That's why I'm saying that the coaching that goes on back there, a lot of it's common sense, but once they understand the offense, it's pretty easy for them to get to where they need to be. Either whether they have to align there or motion there. Same thing, kick it out, get it up inside. There you go. Go challenge the safety. Not going to let a safety discourage us from running the football. Okay, quarterback counter. Now we got the same deal. The guys up front, they don't know if is it quarterback counter, is it tailback counter, doesn't matter to them. This is just off a little jab play fake. Get the ball to safety. All right. Same thing. This one spits out pretty good off the speed sweep action. They wrong arm it. We log it. Bring it around. There's nobody there. We averaged 270 yards rushing a game, and our leading rusher averaged about 105. So we're getting 165 yards rushing a game from all this other stuff. It all counts the same, though. Okay. On the buck sweep. Again, this is our number 1 yard gain per play that we had in our run game. All right? Sometimes we'll Utah motion this guy, sometimes we don't. Just, it matters. If we want to keep him out there to block the corner, we can do that. We're not worried about the corner, though. Okay? We want, if the corner makes a tackle, we're gaining yards. All right? We like to use this Utah motion because the next part of my talk is going to be about the play actions, and a lot of our play action pass is built off of this orbit motion. All right? Starting here with the H-back now. This is also an answer for the wrong arm. When they're wrong arming your power, okay, you come back with the buck sweep. So he's going to block it just as if he's blocking the power option. He wants to get into that end. As the end goes to wrong arm him, he's going to flip his hips on him. If the end doesn't wrong arm him, if he goes to block him and the end gets up the field, he's got to stay on him. Okay, because it's a man concept for him, so he's got to block his ass. All right, tackle versus an even front. And this is the best front to run it against, just because you can get both of your guards out, which we'll talk about here as we go. But versus a three technique, the B-gap defender, the tackle's blocking the B-gap guy. Okay, our split end. Okay, this is probably from our personnel standpoint. This guy for us is our bigger physical or wide receiver. Guy's going to be able to go in there and mix it up with some linebackers and whatnot. Okay, and so he's going to go and he's going to crack the first backer in the box. All right, center blocks back, backside tackle picks and hinges just like he does in all our gap scheme stuff. Okay, the guards now. Our play side guard is going to block support. All right. Now there's two ways that this will wind up happening. If it's man coverage, as he pulls out and he comes around the corner, if he sees that the support player, whether it's a sandbacker or if the strong safety's down, whatever it is, if he sees the support player sinking with that crack block, and he knows it's man coverage, he'll just wind up logging him. Okay? When he logs him, that back's going to hit the highway. He's going to take it outside and get out on the perimeter. All right? As he comes around, if the support player is just sitting there in the flat, playing like a zone coverage, okay, trying to keep his outside shoulder and arm free, then he's going to turn and he'll try to, we turn this almost into like the bottom of a question mark. He tries to kick the support player out. All right? The backside guard is going to pull, and he's looking for the backside backer coming over the top. Now, if he has any thought at all about that backside backer coming on a run through, then he'll pick him up. As soon as he pulls, let's say this backside backer tries to run through the front side A gap. As he pulls, he just blocks him. Or if the backside backer's on a B gap blitz, he doesn't pull that. He just blocks him on the line of scrimmage. Okay? But we want to get him out and around and pick up the backside backer. All right? And of course, we got the, if we do run the Utah motion, then we just fake the reverse off of this play. Backs opposite, fake the reverse. That's his rule. All right? The next thing is if we have an underfront. If we run this versus an underfront, the tackle doesn't have a great angle to block the nose. Okay? Because it's not blocking down the B gap. We don't want to have to tell the tackle, hey, you got to go down there and block with one technique. Okay? So what we do is the front side guard now, he'll just say, I'm in. Makes an I'm in call. And we turn this now into a B gap track. We call it a deuce back. Deuce back where the tackle and guard now are working to the backside back. Okay? The tackle's on B gap track number 2, the guard's on A gap track number 2. We just turn it just like if they're blocking the power. Alright, so we get the backside backer taken care of. So everything else is the same, but if he makes an I'm in call, now the backside guard knows that he's pulling for support with an I'm in call. Okay? And we still crack the front side backer, but the backside guard now knows that he's got to pull for support with an underfront, where we can't get both guards pulling. All right. Again, this was our number 1 yards per play average gain, whatever you want to call it there. This one right here, what does the tackle say? He's got a momo, okay? So he's going to let that guy, and he'll wash him now. That puts the H back on the edge blitzer. Our guard has already made an I'm in call. Right? So he's thinking he's got to block who? Support. All right, he gets a little bit freaked out because of the blitzer and winds up, putting his hat on the blitzer also. But he's thinking, I got to block support. All right, we're going to crack the first backer in the box. And he knows he's hitting the highway. He thinks it's man coverage. Why is he thinking it's man coverage? Well, as the wideout goes in that Utah motion, the corner's running with him. That's pretty evident it's man. Hit the highway. Get out on the perimeter. Now the end doesn't run our H-back. It just hits the square in the face. Okay, so the H-back's still staying on it. We've already made a 9-in call, so we're working back to the number 2 backer in the box. Our guard thinks he's blocking support. All of a sudden, the support player turns into that end. So he just kind of tries to clean it up. And our back makes a great run here, but just pretty to look at. All right, now. Make the reverse, hold the backside defender. This is a good look right here. Right now, what's he thinking? Zone coverage, right? He's thinking zone coverage. I want to get in and out and kick this dude out. So the back can stick his foot in the ground and get it, get north to south. Of course, that little bastard cuts us. You know what I tell them is this, it's probably not right, but right here, when they go to cut you, here's how you cure that. Okay, the O-line coaches will love this. All right, that guy comes to cut me. As soon as his head drops to cut me, I'm going to drop my head and I'm going to put it right in the back of his neck, right here. And he won't do it again. Because if he's going to cut you, he's got no regard right there for your safety. So, screw him. I'm trying not to cuss too much. You know what I'm saying, Tony? I know.
I never curse in these things.
I hear you, brother.
Fuckers, something like that every now and then.
If that guy drops his head, he's putting his own self at risk. So anytime a guy goes to cut you, right there, he drops down low, I'll put my hat right in the back of his neck. And I guarantee you he won't do it anymore. All right, a tackle jacks up our H-back here. I think he made a Momo call, and then the guy didn't come, and he didn't block it. He's got, once that tackle makes a Momo call, that's man now. It's man, because he's telling the H-back, hey man, you got him. So you can't change it up, and all of a sudden the guy doesn't cross your face, and you don't trap it. No. You make the call, you got to do it, because we don't block the end. We get kind of lucky here. All right, now, here's another way that we'll run this motion. Now, they're thinking it's Utah motion, but it's not. Okay, we're going to short motion this, and we're going to go crack it, which is the way to hide the guy cracking. He cracks the first backer, the guard's out on support, kick the support player out. Finish your run. Great job here getting in and out on the support play. All right, pull, the guy's hanging in the flat, kick his ass out, and we tell the backs, when you see that guy's getting kicked out, get your foot in the ground and get north and south. Backside guard just gets around and gets enough of the piece of the backside backer to let the thing spit. Again, short motion, you're going to go crack off the short motion now. Let me get to a quarterback sweep here. Okay, this is off of a different formation now. Okay, now we're going to run the same thing, but instead of having an H-back in there, we put our tight end in. Okay, we knew based on a film study that we were going to get a 7 technique to the tight end side. We'll just tell the tight end, you reach him. Reach the 7, then his ass in. We're going to short motion, crack the first backer in the box. Okay, our guard made an I'm in call. I'm in. So that puts the backside guard now pulling for support. We'll go one-on-one with the safety. You got a guy that's a cut tackler, is a pussy. That's what I'm saying. We're down here in the red zone. The safety's playing at 5 yards off the ball. Who cares? Who cares? Go if he's making tackles, good for him. Chances are he's going to miss them. That's just the nature of that. See you next Tuesday right there. You guys know what that? See you next Tuesday? Huh? Anybody know that? If you ever have an administrator come in your office or whatever, and they're not being real nice to you, just go, hey, see you next Tuesday. Right? See you next Tuesday. They go, see you next Tuesday. Yeah, see you next Tuesday. That's just secret code. That's why I've used that several times. What's next Tuesday? Just see you next Tuesday. Same thing. Short motion, crack the first backer in the box. Backside guards on the backside backer, okay? You get that quarterback sweep here. Oh, okay. Here's another way to run it. Out of 10 personnel. Right? Now we go spread, and we short motion the guy back in to be the ball carrier now. Run the same play. All right, so just being multiple in your run game by changing the formation, changing the ball carrier, or not changing the play. Now we're going to motion the H back in, right, to log the end. When the end gets up the field, just ride them up. It's a great job by the guards, getting down on their backers. Okay. Quarterback sweep, right? We run that little wildcat deal. So now we run the motion across, and we run a little speed sweep back here. This is our quarterback actually coming in motion. He just makes a little handoff to the quarterback, and we're running the quarterback sweep. But for our guys up front, all they're doing is blocking the hand sweep. Okay, it's just, again, it's a different way to run it by changing your formation, your ball carrier, changing the action of the play without changing anything for the guys up front. Same deal here. Motion it back, hit it. Same thing there. All right, you want to take 2 minutes, Tony?
Yeah, guys, take a 3.
And just like Dana was talking about earlier, we don't ride the play action as much as just give it a token fake to try to hold some underneath guys. Okay, it's not something that we're really riding. Now we do have some plays where we do that. Okay, but on these, and this is all going to be started. It's going to start off built off of the, whether you want to call it under dig or what you guys call it shallow dig, or we just call it NCAA route. Okay, dig, drag, post concepts. Okay, and it's going to build off of this. All right. So, well, our thoughts on this. Let me go back to this real quick. Our thoughts on a dig, drag, post concept is this: is that we read everything top down. That's how we read it out. We read everything top down. So in other words, as soon as we get through our play thing, our quarterback is going to find the safety to the post. And if the safety to the post is not running to cover the post, we're throwing a sucker up there. Every time. I say every time, but you'll see one later here and you say, oh, I thought you were going to throw it every time. He doesn't throw it, he should have. Okay, because we want to take shots. That's the one thing that, if you go back to the reason why I said who we are and all that stuff, we're a run play action team. And we want to make people defend the field both what? Horizontally and vertically. Okay? Our head football coach said that he set up some parameters for us, and one of the things that he said to us when we first got there was that he wants to see the ball thrown 40 yards down the field about 10 times a game. And that's one of the parameters he put on us. I said, hey, hell, we can do that. You know what I mean? We're not scared to take a shot. Okay? So we teach everything top-down read. But now, what I mean by that is that if the safety's not back, we're taking the post. Once the safety drops to the post, we're going to read the dig first to the unders. Okay, we're going to try to hit the dig first to the unders. All right, there's a variety of ways we get to this. Okay, here. Right now, where's his eyes looking? He's looking at the post side safety. The safety's down, we're throwing the post. We throw the post every time. Give our guy a chance to go up and make a play. Because here's the thing, here's the other thing about a vertical passing game. All right? And we're big believers in the vertical game. Is that if we throw 10 of those, a game, if we bat 40%, we might have 28 points. Okay, by batting 40%. We might be able to get 28 points on the board just on those 4 plays. Or at least put ourselves in position. And then the other 60%, you know what, you're probably going to get 1, you might even get 2 calls, right? You're going to get 1, maybe 2 of those PI calls also. Okay, so we want to throw the ball down the field. This particular, and I could spend a whole hour session talking about protection. I don't want to do that. This particular route package is built off our 6-man protection. I think, I was talking earlier with the guys, and it sounds very similar to what you guys do as far as this back is going to dual out, 1 to 2. We're going to slide away from the back, okay? I hope that everybody's on the same page with that. The only thing you don't want your back to do versus twist is run into your lineman. Okay, that's easier said than done sometimes. The guy that's on the check down has got to be patient enough where if they're running a twist, we're talking about left tackle's oversetting this a little bit, but the guard's coming to help him because he knows the twist coming, and in the freaking back just jacks our guard. That can't happen. All right, that could have been devastating. Now, we got a 40 or 50-yard gain, but it could have been a sack or a turnover instead. All right, again, to the post side. Here's our post. To the post side. He's checking the safety. Now, why do you think we took this shot? Because that guy sucked. Okay? We knew it going in. Couldn't play. I hope none of you guys coached him. All right? But if we feel like we got a matchup, we're going to take it. Throw it up there. Again, we want to take those shots because you never know when those shots are going to turn into points. All right? And if we just bat, again, we can bat 40%, we take 10 a game, we can bat 40%, we may have 28 points. We like the match up there. Okay, now, on this one, to the post side, what's happening? The safeties are bailing out of there. So what are we going to work? We're going to work the dig to the under. Okay? Work the dig to the unders. Just high-low the pit now. It's an easy read. Once the safeties are back and the post eliminated, our quarterbacks will read dig to under. We don't read it down up. We read it top down. Again, that's just our philosophy on throwing the ball vertically down the field. Okay, now, remember how we just got done running the hand sweep? What was one of the ways we ran the hand sweep? We short motion the guy to crack. Okay, so now we're going to give him the same look. We're going to short motion, but now he's going to be on the drag. The dig's in behind, post over the top. Same concept. If the safety's not back, we're going to throw the deep ball. If the safety drops back, like in this case right here, the safety gets back on the post, we're going to work the dig. Okay, we short motion to it. Our number one run play out of this alignment right here is our hand sweep. Okay? So we short motion to it, give it the same look. This is our 6-man, half slide, half man protection. The back's working on the check down. And that's the other two. You're never wrong if your quarterback winds up taking it. If we miss a vertical shot, are we going to talk to him about it? Yeah. Okay? If we miss a dig, are we going to say, hey, you probably could have thrown a dig here? Yes. But as long as, if he takes the check down and you gain yards, I mean, move the sticks, do what you got to do. Okay? We want him to read it top down. But it's just like a back. Here's something that we have rules on how we run our zone and all that stuff, how we read our zones out and all that. If the back makes a misread and gains 5 yards, I'm going to call him over and say, hey, son, look, you probably should have banged that. You probably should have bounced that. Okay? If he misses a read and gets tackled for a loss, he's going to get his ass ripped. Okay? But if he gains yards, I'm going to be a little bit nicer to him. You know what I mean? If your guy makes a mistake and it winds up positive yards, I mean, sometimes it's football. Okay? But here, you see the safety's back. So now we're going to work. We're going to work the dig. We're going to work the high-low to the dig. Again, this is a little token fake. We want to be 3 in a hitch and throw. Little token fake, 1, 2, 3, hitch it up, make the throw. That's our timing on that. The only time if he takes 2 hitches, you ought to be throwing a check down. If he takes 2, if he wants to let it go, he may go 1, 2, 3 hitch and throw the deep one. He may go 1, 2, 3 hitch and then work the dig, because by his third step, he ought to know what that safety's doing. If he goes 1, 2, 3 hitch and can't make a decision, Take the check down. Okay, look where the safety is. To the post side, the safety's back. Now I know right now, the safety's back. He knows he was scared the ball snap, the safety's going to be back. So what's he going to work? He's going to work the dig to the under. So it's just our philosophy of reading everything top down. Safety's bailing back, he knows it right now. Now work the dig to the under. All right, this one here, I believe we get, we got to work in the pocket a little bit here. Okay, now we're running off the Utah motion, right? So the short motion, we just run the Utah motion. Well, where's the drag come from? It comes from out of the backfield. Now, we're still getting to the same spot. Okay, but we're not running across. He's just running this check down out here now. Okay? Where's the safeties at? The safety's dropping big time. He has to work the pocket a little bit, get a little bit of pressure. The dig keeps coming, find the dig. This is a hell of a throw. That's why this guy's playing in the NFL now. Work your feet. Again, short motion. Now watch this. Right now, here's your drag, right? Here's the drag. Instead of motioning and coming across, he's going to come off the Utah motion, fake the reverse and go. Right now, the quarterback says, oh shit. Right? He's in trouble. So what does he do? Go to the check down. Just get it out of there. You can always take the check downs. When in doubt, take the check down. Okay? Do we want to throw perfectly? Absolutely. But things aren't always going to be perfect. We're not always going to have perfect protection. Sometimes the defense is going to get pressure. Okay, right there, he's going, uh-oh. Throw the check down. So we turn a negative yardage play into about a 4-yard gain, 4 or 5 yard gain. You're ready to move the sticks. Okay, now, this one is going to be a play action. All right, off the same motion. You got the little Utah motion. The back's away. So what's he going to do? He's going to fake the reverse. So everything looks the same. Okay, he becomes a check down to the flat. Now what we're doing is, if we get the shot, it's just a flood concept, a weak side flood concept. If we can take the shot, if he's got the shot, we'll take it. Okay? If they run over the top of the vertical, now we just work the high-low to the climb route. Okay? His aiming point, we want to give him about 14 to 16 yards over there on the numbers. Okay? He may have to work his way through. He may have to go over the top of the linebacker one time, come under him the next time. Whatever. Just give the easiest release and get across 14 to 16 yards depth on the numbers. Okay, what he's thinking after the play action, again, we run a short motion. This is our number one play is the hand sweep. We give a little bit of a token fake to the reverse. He's thinking shot. The shot's covered. Now just working the high-low. If he had taken the check down here, he wouldn't have been wrong. You see what I mean? He would not have been wrong. Our quarterbacks have a lot of confidence in this route package, in this flood package. Okay, and again, it's built in off of our gap game. Play action off the gap game. All right, here's the situation here. We got right before the half, second quarter, minute 27 left. This is a great opening play for a 2-minute drill. It's a safe concept. Plus, you're attacking the perimeter, where if you get it, you catch the ball, you can get out of bounds. Three and a hitch and throw. Throw the climb. About 16 yards. Right on the sidelines. Get what you can. Step out of bounds. They didn't step out. You're punished the guy trying to tackle good. Good for him. But again, his first thought, as he comes out of this, he's looking at the safeties. Are the safeties deep? Yeah. Now I'm going to work the high-low. And I can always take the check down. Okay, now we just run them across on motion. Instead of running the orbit motion, we run them on speed motion across. Is the shot there? We like the matchup. Take the shot. He's got it. He actually underthrows this. If he throws it out there, it's going to be 6. He underthrows it a little bit. Okay, so it's top-down read. Right here, if he would have taken the check down, he would not have been wrong. This guy starts nosing around, that's the guy he's got to believe. He's got, again, our quarterback's got a lot of confidence in this throw. Safeties are back, or over the top of the post. Just work the high low and the flat. Okay, we're going to get this one to a different motion now. What we did is, you'll see it from the back end, but we shifted to this alignment. We were in straight 20 personnel. We shifted over to this alignment. Now we motion like speed sweep and just run the same concept off the slide protection. We're full slide protecting that, max protected, so we feel like we should have time to throw it, read it out, right? They're over the top of the post. Obviously, they're underneath the climb route. Just take the check down. Okay, now we're going to go unbalanced. We'll run the same concept. Okay, but this time we're going to add a tight end in as an extra crosser to carry the safety. All right, this guy is really not an option. All he's supposed to do, we got to tell him sometimes to say, you're not running this route. That guy's name is Jake Collins. You're not running this route for Jake Collins. You're running this route for the Tulsa Hurricane. Okay? You're not an option here. Just get that safety and carry the safety with you. Okay, but what does it become? It's the same deal. This safety's getting back over the top of the post. That's eliminated. Now we just work the high-low. Well, hell, there's nobody to high-low off of because we cleared them out of there. And this would be a play that we talked about earlier as a fire alarm play for us. Okay, we come out of the huddle. We get lined up as quick as possible. We're in an unbalanced set. Okay, our tackle's over. Tight ends backside. Bring the short motion. We full slide protected. Okay, full slide protected. And then just run the same route concept. So it hadn't changed anything for the quarterback. We just changed our formation, changed the way we get to the same route. Okay, now we want to run. We put our formation into the boundary, and we're going to get to the same concept. Okay, we're going to get to the same concept, but instead of slide protecting this one, we're going to man protect it. Our check down to the flat now will be our back out. All right? If they brought both duels, that's your hot throw. Okay, in man protection, we want to have our hot throw, and if they bring both duels up the front side, we throw hot to the first back out. Okay, now our slot, not our slot, but our split end becomes the vertical route, and now we're running our exit cross on the crossing, on the climb. So now we're running the same route concept, but running with a formation into the boundary. Okay? Here comes the post. He's going to clear everything out. Climb route's coming from the weak side of the formation now instead of coming from the formation strength. If they bring both duels, we got a hot throw in the flat right now, and it just becomes the same read for the quarterback. Are they over the top of the post? Yes. And then we're going to high-low the flat defender from the check down to the climb. And all that's off of that orbit motion, the Utah motion stuff that we do. This looks right here, this could be a hand sweep, right? This could be a counter. This could be power force. Could we run split back power? All that stuff. It could be a reverse. We do a lot of things off of this. Now, this is one right here where he probably could have taken the post. Right? He could have taken the shot here. And looking back on it, this is one of those ones where he said he probably should have taken the shot. Right? Throw it up there. Let him, give him a chance to go get it. Obviously, the climb route's wide open, so he just dumps it into the climb. But when we have, you don't get, here's the thing. Were we pissed off at? No, we gained 30 yards. Okay? But how many times in a game do you have these type of opportunities? Okay? How many times in a game do you have an opportunity to throw a 60-yard touchdown pass? There's not been, maybe what, 4 or 5? Maybe, if you're lucky. So you don't want to miss one. That's why we want to attack everything vertically. Make him defend the depth of the field. Not only the width, but the depth. You got a little blitz coming here, good job picking up the blitz. Step it up, throw the cross. The wideout does a great job here of sitting down and feeling the corner. He doesn't just run to get blown up. Okay? He feels the corner in there and sits down in the hole. Safety's over the top. Work the dig. Okay? Quarterback's off his timing, right? 1, 2, 3. Hitch, hitch, hitch. Uh-oh. Throw the check down. You can always take those check downs out of the flat. Just get it out. And let him go to work. Make a tackle in space. We turn a play that could have been a negative yard play to a 4-yard gain. That's once the quarterback's timing breaks down. It's how important. All this stuff's on timing too, right? He's thinking 1, 2, 3, hitch, hitch. Man, I'm starting. Boom, dump it out to the flat. Once he starts getting a little bit wound up in his timing, he starts getting a little bit off kilter in his timing. We want to dump it out to the flat. Safety's over the top of the post. There comes the climb. Okay, here's some throwbacks, and this will be off of our, this is more off of our outside zone, okay? Just a little extra for you here, all right? We run, our number one play out of this formation, all right, is the outside zone weak, okay? And then we also, we run some nakeds and stuff out of here. We got our bubble out into the field and all that stuff, but our number one play is the outside zone weak. Now, when we pull our guard out here, normally we're working some kind of high-low out here to the flat. So we roll it out. We want to go 2 for 1 with our X. Okay, we think he's going to carry the corner, and we want him to try to take the safety with him. Sometimes you look at, when you're looking at your film, and you run your nakeds, okay, always check to see if they're taking care of the, we call the oh shit guy. Okay, and the reason we call the oh shit guy is because right about here, the deep coordinator is going, oh shit. All right, so we want to make sure if they're handling the oh shit guy. Okay. BYU is a very disciplined team. All right, so we kind of figured that one of these two guys was going to handle it. Right? Why do we still run it? Because we like the matchup now. Now we got one of our tailbacks matched up on our outside linebacker. That's in our favor. Okay, so it's just a way to throw it back across the field off the outside zone action week. We didn't talk too much about this one, is that all right?
Yeah.
We're good? Okay, here's another way. Again, showing it's the same play for us. It's the same play, but what do? We're going to change the formation. We're going to motion and change all that stuff just to give a different look. We run it naked. All right, we want him to carry the corner, carry the safety if he can. But these guys are undisciplined, so we want to throw it back to the oh shit guy. Like I said, right now, that's what the coordinator's saying. This one's a climb round. Now this last one here, this is same concept coming back. We run a little boot protection with it. Tight end freaks my guard out. That's why the quarterback gets stroked here. Because he got freaked out by the C-gap guy. But again, we run the throwback. Always check. Any of your naked stuff. Check to make sure that they are defending that guy coming out of the backfield for the throwback stuff. All right. Does anybody have any questions on anything? I appreciate your attention. I'm going to be around here for a while. If anybody wants to hop me, whatever, I've got some, some other cut-ups and stuff of our zone stuff. If you want to talk or whatever, just come find me, and I'll be here for a while. I appreciate you guys having me. I really thank you for having me here.
Guys, 10 minutes, Coach.